with the first and goal. Kuhn gets the ball. Pyle trying to make his way in for the touchdown. What a great second effort.
Y'all don't really want it like that. Here comes the here comes the here comes the y'all don't really want it like that. I said so. I keep big bills up in my heart on the dirty like blood. So ain't got no twist in my head, but I'm still dreadful.
Wolf Pack, what's going on? It's your boy, the Wolf of Roto Street, rotostreetjournal.com. We breed and feed fantasy wolves here with your week 3 tailgate, of course, joined by my co-host, Mr. CJay himself, the silent assassin, so he's now known as around these parts. What's going on, silent assassin? How are we doing today?
Nothing too much. I love being professional operation again with that video.
It makes me so pumped up now. It's a huge, I get jacked up. The people are shaking their asses and going through tables and all that good stuff. We got the Wolf Pack already in here with some questions. As you know, it's week 3, sit start time, whether you're, 2-0, sitting pretty, 0-2 and starting to feel the panic creep in. If you're watching the show, you better not be 0-2. Come on now. Your boys have been hitting it all week. I was thrilled this week to find out the Roto Street Journal is now ranking number 8 in Fantasy Pros top 200 expert competition so far this year. So you're getting some top-notch stuff. The Wolves also fucking pumped up to now keep climbing that list. 8's great. I'm pumped I'm even in the competition. I honestly had no clue. But now we're going to keep climbing, and we're going to answer all those sit starts the best way we can. But as always, we got to rifle through some news, and we have huge alpha wide receiver ones that are a little nerve-wracking this week. And let's just kind of start ripping through these. At first, let's get to the one that's already out. We know is already out, and that is Michael Thomas. He's not playing tonight. But the latest news is he's expected to be back by week 4. Now, if his owner, again, if you have any last minute, you need to throw in a Hail Mary, his owner's 0-2, maybe make a play to get this guy cheap. It sounds like he's moving well at practice. You're not going to get him cheap. It's Michael Thomas, but buying low at some point if his owner has to part with him because he's banged up, he's 0-2, and he can't afford a loss this week. See if you can snare him before this kickoff. Could end up being a big play for you.
Schefter actually tweeted out this morning that he looks like he's on track for week 4.
Yep, exactly. So we'll be back next week. Make those plays. In the meantime, I love Tre'Quan Smith. He got 7 targets, 5 catches, 80 yards, looked like the clear number 1. Sanders could bounce back. That's not to say Sanders can't get there, but ultimately, Tre'Quan looked like the number 1 and looked really, really solid doing so. So he's in my top 35 receivers this week. Above right now is Julio Jones, who's very, very iffy, they're saying, to play. It doesn't look good. He might suit up, but even if he does play, it's questionable what he might be able to do. That decoy style risk. What if he flares up? So we'll see if he ends up giving it a go. Julio in the past toughed it out and stuck out injuries and then just kind of, again, a decoy. It's the Bears too, a tougher matchup. Obviously hurts Matt Ryan. That's kind of the trickle-down effect, too. He falls right to my QB 10, 11, right around that Stafford range instead of the clear-cut top 6, top 7 guy he is each and every week. Ridley gets a target bump maybe, but he's already crushing it. Who knows if this ends up hurting him because he gets more defensive attention. I think he's a true alpha. What's your opinion on Ridley? Do you think he needs Julio there to succeed, CJ?
I think talent-wise, he's a great route runner. He can separate. He can do everything. It's just, I don't know. I do feel like he might take a little bump down this week.
It could be. It's a tough matchup too. And he's also on pace for 32 touchdowns, 2,000 yards and 190 catches. He's due for just a natural bump down as it is. So ultimately, he's in my top 5 receivers with or without Julio. Julio himself is on my bench, wide receiver 38 if he plays. Again, rather have Tre'Quan Smith, maybe even KJ Hamler if you're desperate for a fill-in for some of these guys. 9% owned right now, definitely a viable stream. If you guys are tuned into, and then the last one is Davante Adams. They're saying he's doubtful, but he's pushing to play. So he himself thinks he's good. He's ready to go for Sunday Night Football. That's the risk with him it is Sunday Night Football. Do you have MVS? Do you have Allen Lazard, Tre'Quan Smith? to wait it out and see, because otherwise you got to get a guy in. You can't just stick it to the wire, hope he plays. Then even if he plays, is Davante Adams going to be at, clearly not at full strength? Is he at risk of re-aggravating it and getting hurt again? So that ultimately it doesn't look good, they're saying, even though it's progressing. There's a chance he plays, but there's no guarantee. So what they're saying. So ultimately, I'm expecting all those alphas to be out. I really wouldn't want to have any of them in my lineup. And let us know if you're struggling there. I saw a couple of nice likes and hearts coming in there. If you're watching wherever you are on YouTube, Facebook, Periscope, don't mind giving us a thumbs up wherever you're at. Any shares are obviously so greatly appreciated. So thank you, Wolfpack, for tuning in to your Sunday mornings with us. We love spending them with you. Other news, the banged up Raiders. Well, Jacobs and Darren Waller, as expected, are in kind of just maintenance days in practice after a really hard week against the Saints on Monday Night Football. But they're also getting another hard one here against the Pats. You got to keep both guys locked in your lineups, especially with Ruggs now out. Higher target share coming for Darren Waller. But I don't know. What do you think about Belichick? We're both obviously Pats fans. Is he's so good at scheming what you do best and taking that one thing out of the game. Does he key in on one of these guys, Waller and Jacobs? Like, who are you more worried
I mean, I think it's going to be, they can't stop the run. I don't know why Seattle stopped running the ball last week, but I like Jacobs a lot this week. I have him in a few of my props. And then Waller, I feel like, I think I see a lot of double teams on Waller. And I don't know. He killed it on Monday. He's so good, though.
16 freaking targets, 15 catches? I mean, insanity. He is a beast of a player. I mean, only 5,700 on DraftKings, too. So definitely going to be one of the chalkier plays because it is essentially a wide receiver one. I do think the Pats will scheme to take him out, and we just get a 5 for 60 day. You can only take Waller out so much. But I'm actually fading that chalk on DraftKings personally. Obviously, he's in your lineups if you own him in redraft. But I'm kind of fading him in DraftKings based on how chalky he's going to be. Keep those questions coming in, Wolfpack. We see 20 already. We want to break. I think we hit 215 combined last week. Let's keep it rolling. 130 on Facebook alone. So keep them coming. We promise. That's the lifeblood of this show. We will get there. We have about 6 other things to cover. One of them being Kenny Golladay. Practiced. Ian Rappaport tweeting had a really strong week of practice. And even though Golladay himself, he says he's less than 100%, he's going to go give it a shot. And it's tricky because, again, similar to the Julio argument, you don't want a receiver that could flare up, that could get knocked out. But they've been very cautious with him so far. So I don't think they'd be putting him out if there was really any big risk. He gets Arizona, a nice soft secondary against a team that's also going to put up points. That's one of my favorite games, alongside, of course, Dallas and Seattle. I love targeting that Detroit-Arizona game to blow up in DraftKings style. And that means Golladay could have a nice bounce back. He's slided in right around wide receiver 26, I think, in my rankings. So most likely, especially in 3 wide receiver leagues, probably a play, for me at least. CJ, would you put him in lineups, or are you going to wait a week?
Yeah, I have him in 2. I'm already he's been starting since Monday or Tuesday.
Yeah.
I can't wait to finally play him.
I always like that too, putting him in so he knows, like on Monday. You're like, I put you in. Chris Jason put me in. Oh shit, I got to really step up this week. I've been in his lineup since Monday. Really sends a message to the locker room there. But yeah, I totally agree. I think if you have him, you put him in there at this point. It's your 3rd round pick. He's a stud, Babytron. I think he bounces back, and I think it's huge for Matt Stafford. My quarterback 9 on the week. I got a lot of like him versus Tannehill. I love the 2 of my favorites this week. Those, if I'm not going, Seattle, Dak, Russell Wilson, or Kyler Murray on DraftKings, it's either Stafford or Tannehill. So I love both those guys. Both great plays. One reason to be a little down on Tannehill, even though he thrived last week without him, A.J. Brown out week 4, but it's actually looming pretty large right now. Schefter tweeting out this morning that it's not looking good. He's progressing slower than expected and probably going to be out at least a few more weeks. This is getting tricky, and they're not putting him in on the IR yet, so you can't put him in IR spots, which gets obnoxious. I don't know. I don't know how to approach this one. Obviously, you had to have him on your bench because he's out, but would you buy low? Is this a guy, if you're like 2-0 CJ, that you think you should target, or is his knee kind of sketching you out too much?
Yeah, I'm not high on him right now. He's it's like a scary injury. It's just and he's so like speed reliant too, and like after the catch and everything, I could just see something bad happening. I just don't want him on my team right now.
It's tough. And he was expected to be great coming in the year. He is great when he's healthy. It's tricky. Let's see this week. If I'm sitting 3-0 and his owner's 0-3 and panicking, and I can get him for like a cheap running back, maybe Josh Kelly this week. He has 2 touchdowns against Carolina. And it looks like A.J. Brown might be back in a week or two and the news gets better, maybe. But yeah, I'm with you. It's not a guy I'm actively getting out there to try and go get. Last couple here. George Kittle is out. So is Reed a must-start fill-in? I'm on the fence there. One, because Logan Thomas is also out there in 70% of leagues right now. He gets Cleveland, who gives up the most points to tight ends at the moment. I'd go Logan Thomas first. The Giants obviously are nothing special. But Nick Mullins also blows. Jimmy Garoppolo's out. And whenever, we've seen Mullins pepper Kittle before in the past. That's Kittle. You can't just be like, oh, he loves tight ends. Kittle's a different beast. And last week when Mullins came in, I know very well because Reed was my smash DraftKings player of the week in all my lineups. He had like 24 points at halftime. I thought I was about to be a millionaire. And then he got nothing after halftime. Did have a good week, $2,000 week. Not bad. Hoping to keep the good times rolling here. If you missed yesterday's DFS show too, feel free to catch the replay after this. We're hoping to keep the money rolling. Maybe, just maybe, getting my fingers crossed here, learning the system a little bit here. But Reed, I don't know. I don't feel quite as good with Mullins at quarterback. Still a viable option. I think he's tight end 14 in my rankings this week. So definitely, if you're desperate for a Kittle fill-in, look to Logan Thomas first. I also like Dalton Schultz for the Cowboys. 10 targets, team high last week. And we know that game is going to be a bonanza between them and the Seahawks. But then I go Reed. He's a nice fill-in if you need it. Other 49ers, just to make sure we reiterate all week, it's Jerick McKinnon's time. Mostert and Coleman are both out, confirmed at this point. Yeah, there's Jeff Wilson buzz, even, Jermichael Hasty getting promoted. People are starting to freak out. Like, do I trust McKinnon? It's going to be a committee of 3 people. It's McKinnon. It's the McKinnon show. I'm all in. I don't know if
how many touches is he getting?
I bet you we get 15 to 20. I honestly think we do. It all, of course, depends how he's doing, how they're looking with no Mullins, no Jimmy G. It's like, is it the defense just going to stack the box? Maybe. But the dude has 120 yards on 9 touches so far this year. I could see a situation where he just lights it up right from the start, and Shanahan doesn't really need to look anywhere else. He's been waiting for this opportunity to ride McKinnon. He paid him the 4th highest running back contract just 2 seasons ago, and probably doesn't want to look like a moron. I could see him definitely this, if not now, when? When is he ever going to get the chance to ride him like this? They know Mostert's on the mend, so it's like, they know they have the guy if anything ends up happening to McKinnon. Maybe, just maybe, it will be a committee because that's what Shanahan fucking does. But he did come out and say McKinnon's not on a pitch count. We feel great about his week of practice. He's the starter. He's feeling great, and we're just really excited to see what he does. To me, Shanahan's suggesting if this guy eats, we're just going to feed him. That's what I think. What are your thoughts?
I'm kind of hesitant. I mean, I think I am plugging him into like a flex spot just because of like an AJ Brown injury or something. But I like his passing game involvement. I am a little afraid of Wilson on the goal line though. I think he could vulture 1 to 2 scores like he has in the past.
Wouldn't be shocked to see him definitely get a touchdown. And if he fell in for 2, I'd be so fucking pissed. But
he'll put up like a Jordan Howard-esque, like
it would be
4 carries, 2 touchdowns, 6 yards.
Absolute nightmare. But we've already seen McKinnon find the end zone once on a 20-yard reception. Like he still stays involved and is such a big play threat that even if Wilson does vulture, and honestly, I think he might. And even Wilson himself is like, if you're hugely desperate, you could plug in. But yeah. I mean, I'm still all in McKinnon. Let us know.
McKinnon still has the burst too. Did you that like hilarious play last week when he went for 50
31
on 3rd and
3rd and 31? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. He looked great though on that. And I think we're going to get a full day of that. And it's going to end up really boosting his rest of season value. Like Coleman's looking to be out multiple weeks. And ultimately, if he performs real high, who says McKinnon can't become the 1A, at worst 1B within this backfield in addition to the third down work? So he's probably the player I am most excited to see this week. I can't wait to see what happens. Jerry Jeudy is questionable. If anybody watching or CJ, I don't know if you could see any news yet on him. They might be a 4:00 game, so it might be a little while. I forget what time they're playing, but he entered the week questionable. The early rumblings were he was expected to give it a go, according to Rappaport's sources. So I think he'll be out there. Obviously, without Sutton, his role is that much more important. But either way, if you own him and it's a late start, especially KJ Hamler, still, I want to reemphasize, only 9% owned. Great new article from a debuting writer, Scout Pan on Twitter. Great stuff there, breaking down why Hamler needs to be on your DraftKings radar this week. Only 3K, but also at minimum stashed in your leagues. If you're not starting him, I get it. It's, Hamler, second week back, but he had over 100 air yards last week. Dude's a blazer, but also can run some nice routes. One of my favorite stashes if I have some bench trash to cut, for sure. So check for him. Is there any word, CJ, on Judy? Did anything pop up?
No, I haven't seen anything yet.
Yeah, we'll keep our eyes peeled. If anybody sees anything,
probably won't see anything until like 3 or so.
Yeah, is it at 4 o'clock? Is that what time that game is?
4:25.
Yeah, so we probably won't find out. So make sure you have Hamler stashed if you think you're going to be relying on Jerry Jeudy later. Curtis Samuel, could he be the benefactor of C-Mac's absence? Maybe. Ian Rappaport came out this morning on a video and said they expect to feed Mike Davis, make him kind of that workhorse, that bell cow. So Davis, for 4-6 weeks, 8 catches on 8 targets last the fourth quarter once C-Mac was knocked out. Could be your nice replacement plan for him, for Christian McCaffrey. We'll see. Curtis Samuel, the Joe Brady saying we got to get this guy more involved. He had 4 carries last week. I still wouldn't want to stream him, but he's a guy I'm definitely monitoring this week. And if you're desperate, he's only 4,000 on DraftKings.
Hey, over 2.5 receptions.
I think he hits that. Yeah. Like that's, if they're scheming, they're talking about scheming to get him the ball. Like, that's 3 catches is nothing for him. He had 8 targets every single week so far. Mm-hmm. So I think that's definitely a play. Is he one of your plays that we're going to go through later? Yep. Awesome. We do have a good list of prop bets that we're going to mix in after we start hitting your sit starts here. Last 3 notes. Christian Kirk is out, so here comes yet another wave. Whether he was in or out didn't matter. Hopkins was going to see 20 fucking targets. Hopkins is definitely going to catch 12 balls, 150 and a TD, most likely. Pretty much the chalkiest receiver on DraftKings for a great reason. It's hard to have a lineup without him. He might be the guy I fade and just pray he just has like a normal human day, like 8 catches for 80 yards. And I make up those receiver points somewhere just because that gives me the flexibility to get some running backs I love. But Hopkins is the play of the week. And with all those other in alphas, there's really nobody else, no other true number 1 dominant first round receiver out there this week. So Hopkins is a pretty big smash this week. And Andy Isabella, maybe worth a stash. If he thrives this week, if he lifts the lid, has a couple big plays. 1, he's only 3,800 on DraftKings. 2, redraft probably not starting him, but again, all those receiver injuries, maybe you're desperate. At minimum, though, alongside the Hamler play is like very interesting athlete. UMass was one of the best route runners there. He could be worth a stash if you got nothing else on your bench and you just have someone to cut. Maybe give Andy Isabella a look and see what he does this week. Just cut him if he sucks. Like it's a pretty simple one. Cam Akers out with the rib injury. No real timetable right now. He's looking like a pretty early flop. We'll see if he ends up having like a Miles Sanders-esque rebound, but I don't know. I'm not feeling great about Akers. And part of that is Henderson looks so good. I don't know, CJ. Are you kind of already off the Akers bandwagon?
Oh, I hate him so much.
Yeah.
I almost want to hate cut him already, but I still am holding out hope. I still think he's talented enough to eventually win the job. It's just, I don't know if I want to keep him on my bench for 8 weeks now.
It's tough. Exactly. We'll see if it comes out this week. It's going to be like 4 more weeks till he's back and he's cut. But if it's only another week or 2, he was so good at Florida State breaking tackles. But the bigger worry might be Henderson just looking so good. We were hyped up on this guy last year. And really just showed why for the first time. We saw glimpses of last year, but he only touched the ball, I think 15, 20 total times last year. We saw last week 121 yards, got a nice goal line carry, knifed through the defense, like that zone blocking reading. He was all over it. Malcolm Brown was sucking, something with his pinky. He might have even broken it. He's off the injury report, but I think Henderson gave them every reason. Like he might end up becoming what everyone thought Akers was going to be. We know McVay in the past has loved his workhorses, and Henderson has all the right ability. They traded up to get this guy in round 3 last year. So I'm very intrigued by him. And the last couple here, Justin Jackson not playing, which helps Eckler out. I think it's Eckler smash week. He's my favorite pivot on DraftKings. It's tough to get away from Drake at 6K, Sanders at 6.4, Jonathan Taylor at 7. Those are kind of the base of every lineup I start. but I do think a nice pivot at 5% owned. Eckler against the worst run defense in the league at 6,800 without Melvin Gordon. Obviously, if I told you that last year, he would have been in every single lineup. So I think, the recency bias, people judging him for the slow start to the year. Justin Herbert, 58 yards for the receiving game for Eckler, 4 catches, 4 targets. All the signs trend to him just having a massive blow up, in my opinion. I love me Austin Eckler as a low-owned pivot this week. And Brandin Cooks is likely to play. Tough matchup against Pittsburgh. So not someone I'm sprinting to get into my lineups at all, but he did have a quiet 8 targets and 95 yards last week, whereas Will Fuller, hopefully you listen to our sell high advice, stretching on the sidelines, in and out of the lineup, already dealing with Will Fuller's bullshit. I know you were in again, CJ. Did you fall for his swan song again this year? Or no?
No, didn't even draft him. First time he's been in the league.
You grew up. You finally realized no more Will Fuller. Hopefully you took our advice. And on that sell high note, I think James Conner is going to smash this week. I think he's going to kill Houston, who's horrible against running backs. But he's just like Will Fuller, a ticking time bomb till he's a headache all year. So if he's, people are already offering for him, or if you have any type of after this week trying to move him, if anybody values him as an RB1, James Conner is going to be I already wrote about him as a sell high, even though I think he smashes this week. And then the last note, and then all your questions. We got 57, and then we're just ripping through them all the rest of the show, unless any other news breaks. Deebo Samuel, check if he's dropped. If you have an IR spot, he probably wasn't, but I did see him on the waiver wire and scooped him in a couple leagues. He's expected to return to practice, and they're targeting a week 5 return just so they make sure he's fully good to go. Don't rush him out. But it's clear they need receivers. I think his return will time up nicely with Jimmy Garoppolo. And you're looking at like an anchor potential wide receiver too. They haven't had anybody step up in his absence. And he was an anchor wide receiver too as a rookie last year once he fully took off. He could have taken a big step. We'll see, but he should not be out there in any leagues. And then Alshon Jeffrey, maybe. Like Reagor's out for 8 to 10 weeks, and Jeffrey's expected to play. I don't love it. I don't feel good about it, but that weapon, they have nobody. I don't know. What do you think? Do you have any interest in Alshon, CJ?
No.
Yeah.
He's another one I just want no part of at all.
It's a gross one. It's really gross.
I'd rather take upside elsewhere. I can't do it.
And then I forgot to mention Justin Herbert, though I said it with Eckler. He is starting. Tyrod Taylor, the craziest story of probably injury I've ever heard. Gets his lung punctured while getting an injection. What are you doing, Chargers team doctor? I mean,
I know, right?
As a fantasy fan, I'm happy because that offense definitely hums better with Herbert there, but just weird stuff there.
Yeah, they said Schefter just tweeted out that he's going to miss next week too.
Oh, wow. Tyrod Taylor?
Yep.
Oh, perfect. And then James White is also not back with the team. Of course, prayers up in one of the most tragic situations that we've ever seen for a football player on Sunday. Awful news with his family, but he'll be out. And just the fantasy implications, I know you're not in agreement, although balls should flock together, so you should be all about this guy. I think Rex Burkhead is a really nice desperation fill-in. Like, again, desperation being the key word. I'm not saying you need or should want Rex Burkhead in lineups, but he played 73% of the snaps last week. Yes, the game flow was 100% in his favor, but still 73% of snaps. The clear cut, there's no other passing down guy really right now to take carries from him, or rather catches. And the biggest, yeah, come on, disgusting. And the Raiders have given up the most receiving yards to running backs so far this year. So 4,000 bare minimum on DraftKings if you need a punt play, and if you're desperate for a Saquon or McCaffrey fill-in, he's my running back 30 this week. I really think Burkhead will be in for 6 catches, 50-ish yards, and if he stumbles that ass into the end zone, you're looking at yourself a really nice day. So ultimately, I don't hate Burkhead at all this week. With James White out, I think you could make a really nice desperation fill-in.
I also think Damian Harris, I think, is set to come off IR next week or week 5.
And I think that's a huge note, too, because Sony's looked like complete garbage. He's only 25% owned. I actually went through and looked for Harris, wherever he was out there. A really nice stash because it's not like Sony's done anything. It was looking like ultimately Harris was ready to take that early down role and run with it because he was offering much as way more as a receiver. I was powerful in camp, crushing it in goal line drills. He was like our, you must draft at pick 100, or around 9 or 10 pick. I was getting him in everywhere. And then, of course, he breaks a finger and misses the first fucking 4 weeks. But I don't see much reason why he won't just come right back and be what he was in camp. Sony had the chance to impress. He's looked worse than ever. Like, it's Damian Harris. So ultimately, I'm all about it. Alrighty, guys, we are on to your questions. That's all the pickups, everything you need to know. So let us know if you have anything specific. We're going to rip through them. And again, any likes, shares, comments, retweets, subscriptions on YouTube is probably the biggest thing. Again, I like to push. Last week, you guys bumped our numbers by like 30 after the show. It was awesome. Anyone who hasn't yet, it is so appreciated. That's where we're trying to grow. But the rest of the show is all about you, your needs, your sit starts. So let's start hitting them. Kyle Tunes lost last week. Need a bounce back week. We're here for you, Tunes. Let's freaking get it. Who do I start? Jeremiah Moore at church today. Pick 3, Boyd, Slayton, Hollywood, Gage, Corey Davis. Hollywood's my must start of that group. I love the matchup.
I thought we agreed to not talk about him anymore.
I know we said that, and then he also, though, he kind of flopped
He
last
did, but
he wasn't big. But I mean, this is the type of game that Hollywood was born for, right? Like Chiefs, Monday Night Football.
Julio Jones out, by the way.
Officially out. Got it. So Julio is out. I'm going to pull up my rankings just to make sure I X out of him as we're doing this. But Julio's out for anybody out there. That's better. You don't have to sit here and weigh like what shitty receiver do I put in over Julio. Now you just get him out. So big news there. Make sure you have Julio out of your lineups, folks. But in addition to them, Jeremiah, I go Hollywood. I go Boyd. I love his matchup against Philly, locking down AJ Green with Slay, and the rest of their coverage is horrible. So I like Boyd. And then, with the Julio Jones, Gage makes a lot of sense. I do like Slate. I mean, these are all good options. Like, I have a hard time picking these 3. I think I go Slayton, that banged up 49ers team. No Saquon. Like, they're going to need to keep throwing. I think I go Hollywood, Boyd, Slayton. But that's tough. What do you think, CJ?
Yeah, I'm right in line with you. Gage is a close 4, but I'm going to go Slayton there.
Yeah, I mean, Gage is certainly interesting, but it's not like Chicago's got a pretty good secondary. I think overall this offense kind of struggles to move it a little more than we've seen this year without Julio. So let me get Julio real quick out of my lineups. I am going to bump Gage up. I have him at 32. I have him now at 31, right below Slayton, literally neck and neck, Jeremiah. So ultimately, it's not like a clear cut. Like this is the 3. I do really like Boyd. I have him at 25. Obviously Hollywood my top, and then all those guys. Corey Davis is 34. Gage is 31. Slayton 30. So Slayton's the top one though. It's been a minute since I tagged along on the live. Dylan, what's going on? Glad to see you again. We missed you throughout the week. You're usually there for all of them. CJ's looking better. Hey, some rare praise for CJ's looks on a Sunday.
I know, there's always so much hate I get on Sundays.
His eyes look like buttholes. He looks like he went through a bender. You look very nice, except for where do you do these broadcasts?
Hey, my room. I need to I have the banner. I need to put the banner.
Yeah, put the banner up or something. You look like you're in a prison. Godwin. So we got Matt Bergstein. What's going on, Matt? Godwin, Fournette, or Golladay, Gibson? What do I want in Dynasty PPR? That's tricky because Fournette is just so uncertain. I mean, he's on the last year of his deal. How many years did he sign?
Yeah, this is just 1 year, right? This is his last year.
Yeah, 1 year. So who knows? He looked decent, but is any team ever going to fully commit to him? Godwin, I do really like long term, but to me, Golladay and Gibson seem a little more locked into all they're doing is ascending, where there's some questions around the other two. So I like Golladay Gibson slightly, but I'm not a huge dynasty player, so I can't give you that answer confidently, Matt. Do you have a major leaning either way there, CJ?
I think Golladay Gibson, Fournette, especially if he's on the last year of his deal. Can't you picture him if he turns it on this year, gets 1,000 yards or whatever, him just getting paid and just being fat next year?
He's not the guy. Yeah, I see what you're saying. The motivation is a huge factor for him. He needs that carrot in front of his face. So, yeah, Fournette, out of all those options, is the guy I feel the worst about. So even if Godwin might be the top play, Golladay and Gibson just continue to rise, and those are my plays there. PPR, pick 2 for Stephanie Prague and long-term fan here. Golladay on a potential snap count. Slayton, AJ Green, or D-Jax. I'm going to go Golladay Slayton there. AJ Green getting Slay. Don't love that. Deshaun Jackson just hasn't shown any reason to go to him right now. I get Rager's out, so yeah, against Cincinnati, that could be a nice play. Graham Barfield wrote about this guy on Fantasy Points and how, Cincinnati's given up, I think, the fifth most 20-plus yard plays since the last, 16 games, whatever the span is. So there is a good narrative for Djax. But I don't know. I think it's more Golladay, Slayton for me. I just like those guys better.
Yeah, me too.
Tyler Helper, we need some silent assassin shirts. That's the next big hot ticket item for the RSJ. Is
just my mouth just taped.
Yeah, mouth taped, your eyes kind of just like slanted.
All gag.
Yeah, exactly. I love it. That's coming out next. Make sure you check your Roto Street merch store sometime soon. This is a tough one, Steven, to you. Jonnu Smith or Higbee? I mean, both are just balling out right now. I have a hard time benching, three score Higbee after last week. And Buffalo's nothing, crazy against tight ends as far as I know. Jonnu's the higher floor is Jonnu. He's, guaranteed to see targets because, AJ Brown's out. Corey Davis is the number one, but is he really? Is Jonnu the number one? And we just saw Mo Alley Cox go completely crazy against this defense. So
I like Jonnu there.
Jonnu's definitely safer. Higbee, that 3 touchdown day. I don't know. That's really hard. You're going Jonnu. I think I go Trace Higbee, but it is definitely Higbee's riskier. I was facing Higbee in 3 leagues last week, so I think I had that fresh and seared in my brain because I just what the fuck? After 2 scores, and he scored a bomb third one, and I threw my laptop across the floor. So I know Higbee quite well at this point. Dylan Adams sitting mixing on the pine. Oh, bold. I like it though. Motivate that asshole. Make him prove it to you, Dylan. I think he's going to put that on his locker room today. Dylan Adams, he's benching me. I really got to go out and show it. I love it. Motivational tactics for your fantasy teams are always my favorite. But you put in James Robinson, already a great call. I would not have recommended it, and I would have been dead wrong. There's no way Mixon scores 27 this week. So great play. You got Henry and JT. Oh, yeah. I mean, it would have been Robinson versus Mixon for me. You wouldn't have played Mixon over Henry or JT. So the fact that you were smarter than me, to make that move and bench Mixon for Robinson, bam, great play, unbelievable play, and it gives him a week to really enjoy the pine and see what it tastes like to be benched. Maybe it will motivate him up. So love it, Dylan Adams, great play. Noah Fant or Hayden Hurst, great options. You're big on Hurst this week, right, CJ?
Yeah, I like Hurst a lot. I think he's in all my DraftKings lineups this week.
Yeah, he's sitting at a weird price where it's you're either going for Waller or you're going for Logan Thomas, and then there's Hurst in the middle, no man's land. So he's probably going to be under-owned because no one's looking at that price range really. And I like him to blow up with now no Julio. And if you can beat the Bears, it's from the tight end. So there's a great narrative for him. I think Fant has looked so good. I mean, the Driscoll did that's going to be bad. Driscoll sucks, but Fant is just so good. He scored a touchdown with Driscoll last week too. That's a really hard one, Mitchell. I go Fant. Sounds like CJ goes Hurst. You gotta. I literally tight end 8 and tight end 10 in my ranking. So it's neck and neck. But I personally go Fant just because he's shown so much and they're so banged up. They might need him to operate as their number one. But Hurst has a huge narrative this week too. Lance Davis, what's going on, Lance? Should I start Lamb or keep Evans, Hopkins, and Ridley as flex in lineup? I don't see who you bench. I mean, I love Lamb this week.
Talk about those receivers. Jesus.
Yeah, my good Lord, Lance. Well done. Absolute target hogs. I mean, I might even be looking can you move one of those guys and get a Jonathan Taylor or something like that, right? Because your receivers are just so freaking stacked. 3 top 6 guys. Unbelievable. But that's the thing. You can't get Lamb in there. And that's why you might want to look to move one is I think Lamb's an absolute stud. I think Lamb goes off today. 80% of his snaps coming from the slot, which is where we just saw the Patriots dominate Seattle with Julian Edelman. Ridley was in the slot often in week 1, also went crazy against him. So, I love Lamb. I want him in lineups this week. But when you have those 3 options, your lineup's kind of set every single week. You can't really bench any of those guys at this point. Stephen Drake's from YouTube over here. Cupper, Gallup, and Woods or Slayton, full PPR. Is this a trade, I'm guessing? Or
Cupper, Gallup, and Woods.
Are you just starting?
I think maybe it's 2. It could be 2 different teams. I'm not sure.
I don't know exactly what this question's asking. I'll just rank them for you how I have them this week and let you kind of decide from there. If it's a trade, though, let us know. Woods is my favorite for the week. A lot of people asking about him. I get Tre'Davious White. It's scary, but like they move Woods around enough. And the rest of that secondary is not really that great. We saw Jamison Crowder go for like 150 in a TD. They put Gesicki in the slot last week. He crushed him for 130 in a TD. So I go Woods top, then Kupp as well, just because, again, I like both those options. After that, I have Slayton at the number one. We saw a 30-point day in week one. I think he could get back there this week. And last is Gallup. Although, again, that game's going to be the shootout, and who says it's not Gallup that has the 3-touchdown day out of them all? But he's my lowest of them. He means the lowest targets right now on the Cowboys of their 3 receivers. Lamb seems to really have taken that number 2. So I have Gallup the lowest, but again, all of them have a lot of upside. Woods, Kupp, Slayton, and Gallup is how I rank them. How do you guys feel about Jacobs? Still a must start? Yeah, I'd say so, Eric. Unless you have really other good, let us know your other options. But I have him top 10 running back, and there's very few times in a lineup where a top 10 running back's not in there. So
I mean, I'm not afraid of the Patriots defense. Like,
not at all, especially not the run. Like their linebackers are so weak. Would you play Julio or Gage? Well, that one's answered for you, Giuseppe. Would have been Gage anyways, but Julio's now out. So that one's been answered for you. Pick 2, McKinnon, Hunt, or Gurley for PPR. I like Hunt and I like McKinnon. I don't like Gurley at all, Giuseppe. I didn't like him coming into the year. I don't like him now. He's touchdown dependent. He's game flow dependent. I guess with Julio out, maybe they try to establish the run a little more, but I don't buy Gurley at all. I'm so low on him. Do you disagree at all? CJ, would you put Gurley in over like McKinnon or no?
No, Gurley sucks. Never a fan. No.
And you're welcome. Thanks for using your polite manners. I always love you, Giuseppe. Traquan Smith or Golden Tate PPR. I'm going to go Traquan there. I do like Golden Tate, though. I think he, what do you have, 57 yards and 5 catches last week, like starting to cook up a little bit. And again, all passing game ships should rise with no Saquon just because they're going to have to lean on Daniel Jones, lean on their receiving weapons that much more. So I think Golden Tate is a nice hold right now. But Traquan, as long as MT's out, you get Sunday Night Football hope. Green Bay secondary is awful. So give me Traquan this week. Traded Saquon for MT and Kittle last week before he got injured. Dylan Adams, that worked out for you. I probably wouldn't have even endorsed that deal. But actually, no, MT and Kittle are 2 studs. So, yeah, well played. Well played. Kelly or Davis for Daniel Howland? That's a tough one. I lean Kelly in the matchup. Carolina, so weak against the run, 3 touchdowns in back-to-back weeks on the ground. So I think Kelly finds the end zone. Davis, the better bet for volume. But I could see them getting game flowed out pretty quick. And then, if he stays in for all the receiving work, okay, but maybe that becomes Curtis Samuel. I don't know. What do you think of this one, CJ?
I think I'd go Davis there. I feel like he's going to get a bunch of targets. And even if he does get game flowed out, I feel like, last week, what do you have, like 8 to 10 targets or something?
All in the fourth quarter, too. Yeah. So
I think I'd go Davis. I think I'd go Davis there.
Yeah. All right. Interesting. Yeah. I just like that Carolina matchup. I think it's so juicy. We got 23 fucking carries for Kelly last week, too. Insane. Yeah. But I do think it's also going to be the Eckler bounce back week. I'm stuck between Kareem and Mike Davis for my flex. I think you got to go Kareem here. I really think Washington actually surprises the Browns and gets up early, which ends up flowing for Kareem, playing that kind of pass catching scat back, satellite back, in addition to his like alternate role. He's more game flow proof than Nick Chubb at this point. And he's just been so good. Kareem Hunt's literally got, more points than Chubb on the season in PPR leagues. So even though Mike Davis is the better bet for 15, 20 touches, Hunt does so much more with the work he does get. So that's where I'm leaning there. Yeah. What about you, CJ?
Yeah, I'm in agreement there. That's he's just so good. He's so talented. I'm so pissed that he's like staying.
He should be a feature back somewhere. Like he's one of the top 10 backs in the league. They got 2 of them because I love Chubb as well. Flex and full PPR: Judy, McKinnon, Dobbins, or Gibson. This is McKinnon week for me, Katie Jugir. I'm absolutely all in on him this week. I have him going in 3 out of 3 leagues. He's my most important player of the week, and it's not even close. So I'm hoping he lights it up. I'm going to be pretty upset if the risk with him, I'm going all in, is the turf that everybody got hurt on last week. He is coming off like a repaired injury. So like, I can't sit here and act like McKinnon's this lock, because you also got the Shanahan committee concerns too. But I just, in my gut, love that scheme. I love McKinnon's fit, and if he's healthy, he's looked fully healthy. I think it's McKinnon week. I'm all in. But you do have some really intriguing options. Is there anyone here, CJ, if you're not on the McKinnon hype, like who are you looking at?
I would lean McKinnon here, but I can't do the Ravens backfield right now. Like, Dobbins looked great in week 1 and then had 2 carries last week.
He picked up one of them for 44 yards. Dobbins is the best, though. Like, it's not even close.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
I just can't trust whatever they're doing. Gibson, no. Judy, not right now with Driscoll. So yeah, I'd go McKinnon there.
Yeah. To me, it comes down to McKinnon, or Gibson. Judy's not the play, banged up, and who knows how that's going to flow without Sutton there if he even plays. I love that Gibson saw 66% of the snaps last week, especially because Barber saw 1, which is huge, which is exactly what it should be. Now it's just a matter of, does he start taking those McKissick, all those receiving snaps too? Because then it's lights out. The Browns are a trickier matchup, but not impossible. Like, Gibson has the safest floor, dare I say, of all these guys. Dobbins the most talent, but certainly in the most congested. McKinnon's my play here. That's the one I'm going with, Keen. Dylan Adams, you said that one. Empty and Kittle, can you say luck? Absolutely, dude. Huge luck. Allison Muccini, would you start Singletary or Henderson, and would you start Jay Landry? I don't love Landry this week, so, it comes down to who else. If this is a flex question, then Landry's my least favorite of these. Singletary versus Henderson. I think I'm going to check my rankings. I think I have them actually 23 and 24, like right neck and neck.
You have Henderson at 23, Singletary 21.
Okay, so Singletary, and I was going to say Singletary is my favorite, but it is so close that it is one of those gut calls. But Singletary, no Zach Moss this week. This is the one time he's going to have a shot to find the end zone. Josh Allen's still the biggest goal line vulture in the league, but Zach Moss was getting literally every red zone snap and touch out of the backfield. So Singletary, whenever he's gotten volume, you think about the second half of last year, he was a top 15 running back for most of that span. Good player that is, needs the volume, the right volume. He's going to finally get that right volume with Zach Moss not there. I remember thinking about my rankings coming into the year when nobody was there, when Moss hadn't been picked up. Singletary was right there in my top 15 backs. I think he's a good player in an offense that's surging against a Rams team that's given up the 5th most, yards to running backs this year. So I go Singletary. Gives you a week to see, how real was Henderson. Looked great last week, but if we get the Malcolm Brown show out of nowhere, you never really know with McVay till you know. This could be the week, and I think it is the week we find out it is Henderson and he's the guy, but Singletary is certainly safer, in my opinion. Do you agree with that one, CJ?
Yep, right in line with that.
Half PPR, Henderson, Kelly, Davis, pick 2. I go Kelly and I go Henderson. Davis, again, the biggest bet for volume out of all those guys, but it's Mike fucking Davis. Why?
I'm still going Davis over Kelly. I like the volume there. I like Davis, Henderson.
Yeah, but then the volume argument, Kelly had 23 carries last week. That's ridiculous. And he gets the easiest run matchup of the year.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It also seems like Anthony Lynn wants no part of Herbert for some reason.
I don't get it.
He shits on him after the game, shits on him for his interceptions. What's Tyrod?
That was probably the worst quote I've ever seen. We didn't win the game. He didn't do enough to win us the game. You're facing the defending Super Bowl champs, and he got you to overtime, and you probably should have
led the game for 99% of the game.
And the bonehead plays were probably horrible play calls on your fucking end. And I don't get it. I don't get that fucking loyalty. Yeah. I get that maybe it was because, and part of me starting to think it's oh shit, we fucked up as a team by shoving a needle through this guy's rib cage. So we don't want to just say we're going to bench him because it was our fault. But part of me thinks it's that. I think Herbert, he showed a lot more than I was expecting. He looked great. I think he's kind of cements himself this week. He's somebody, definitely, if I'm desperate at quarterback, no qualms rolling him out this week, but also, even just stashing. Very intrigued to see what he does the rest of the year. Looks athletic too. The Konami code upside is definitely there. But again, 38, Tony, 38. I personally go Kelly Henderson. CJ goes Davis Henderson. They're all good options, though. I really like this is like the week of like intriguing, the McKinnons, the Hendersons, the Kellys, like these number 2 running backs that you never would have coming into the year ever thought would be in your lineup. They're all very intriguing. I think all of them have top 20 upside this week. Kelly and Henderson, my personal favorites. Start 2 in a PPR league. Gurley, Singletary, or Kelly. Thanks, fellas, for Eric Underwood. I think Gurley's my least favorite. I know you don't love Kelly this week, but what do you think between Gurley?
Yeah, I hate Gurley. I wouldn't even want him on my team, to tell you the truth.
I know.
But,
I feel like anytime I shit on him, though, he like scores 2 touchdowns. Anytime I've ever shit on Gurley, so like that's the rub here. But I don't want Gurley at all. I don't know. Do you bench Gurley out of here, CJ?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So Eric, we're benching Gurley out of those 2. Marvin Jones will eat today from Danger Close. Maybe. Interesting prediction.
Yeah.
He has his 152 TD days, and with Golladay back facing number 2 coverage, like there's that narrative for sure. He's a good one to run back. Like if you're stacking Murray and D-Hop, DraftKings, a lot of people are. It's a great stack. He's a good way to run that back if you subscribe to that philosophy, which you should. Nate Very, my opponent this week, call me the week 3 Wolf Slayer. I'm really sorry about McCaffrey. May the rest of your team be healthy and productive, you little asshole. Yeah, we got a good battle. I texted Nate this morning. He's starting Jordan Reed and Logan Thomas. And it's like, and I actually like the play. Like, if you entered week 1 and told me I'd be nervous about facing Jordan Reed and Logan Thomas, like, what the fuck? And I'm actually nervous that both those guys are going to put touchdowns on my fucking ass. And then he's got Tyreek Hill and freaking.
Hey, he got those tight ends because of you last week.
Exactly. I told you, it's going to come back to bite me in the ass. I told him to pick him up last week. But we'll have a battle. We always do, Nate. So I'm looking forward to this one. Kelly Henderson Gibson for RB2. C-Mac owner. Had Robinson Thursday Night Football. Let's go about that one. 27 freaking points. I guess we forgot to start at the top with our Thursday Night Football takeaways. The biggest one is definitely Robinson has to be top 12 rest of season. Maybe top 15 because it's the Jaguars, but like he is a low-end RB1 because the big takeaway was him getting that receiving work, right?
So good. Yeah.
He looks great. Like, I don't know how I missed this guy or what was his deal. Like, I just never had heard of him. And Twitter people were like, you got to pay attention to him. I wish I had, because if I had seen any of this guy play, like, holy shit, he's good. They weren't kidding when they said, James Robinson makes us comfortable to release Leonard Fournette. Like, they actually meant it. I thought it was just coach speak, but he has locked that job down. He was getting work when they were down by 3 scores, still getting receiving work. Like, that's the difference. If it was like an early down guy that's going to get game flowed out, okay. But like Thompson was nowhere to be. I mean, he was in there, but Thompson was barely in there. And Robinson looked so much better every time he touched it, even in the receiving game. So I love me Robinson. Awesome play, Mike Clay. Out of these guys, I think I go Henderson. But the safer play for me is Kelly. Kelly, I think, is going to find the end zone. If you already have 27 points from Robinson and you're in a good position, I think Kelly's the more guarantee. But Henderson, in my opinion, has that good 100-yard like TD upside as well. What about you, CJ? You Henderson or Kelly? You're not big on Kelly, it seems, this week.
Yeah, that's tough. But yeah, I do like your idea about how he already has 27 points from Robinson, so you might as well take like the higher floor. So Kelly, I guess. But if I don't know if things were even, I would say Henderson, but I do like Kelly in that situation.
Yeah. Thinking about trading for Landry. Why? What's the point? This is a low volume pass attack. Like, he's going to have his decent weeks, but Landry's like that's like the first time I think I've ever heard anybody, even when Landry's like been good. And like,
I used to be such a Jarvis Landry fan when he was in Miami. He'd be on like all my teams.
and it's like, we used to be like the few people that would ever target him because nobody's sitting out there like, yeah, I want Landry. Like, no, nobody wants Landry. I don't know, like a low end RB5, like 4. We got a little chuckle out of that one. Someone gave us a ha from Christy India. Like, who's out there sitting Kutunenberg? What the fuck? Like, you're a weird breed of human if you're out there. I'm sitting here waiting for Landry. Like, I don't know about that.
That buy low.
Yeah, right. Landry's gonna fucking have like 180 today too. Watch it. Like, that's the best. All right, Jimmy, our boy Jimmy G. Making some great DraftKings plays all year. Boyd, Gage, Julio is sitting, Jimmy. These are all from like 11, 12.
This is from like 11, yeah.
I know. I love it. The questions just pour in early. So hopefully you guys are still sticking through to hear your answer. I love some of these questions coming up too. I got a good chuckle. Boyd, Gage if Julio sits, so he's sitting, or Hamler. Pick one. I like Boyd either way. I do like the Gage bump here, but Boyd I just think is in a great smash spot. One of my favorite articles. It's on a premium site, but fantasypoints.com. I can't recommend those guys enough. Scott Barrett and those guys. This guy, Wes Huber, is their newest addition. And they kind of stole him from the basement of Pro Football Focus, where he just was like this film grinder that didn't really get a chance to do a ton of his own work. He does their wide receiver cornerback stuff, and it's one of the best articles I've ever read. He tweeted out, Barrett, if you don't follow them, you can still see his take. Wes Huber's on Boyd. Just follow Scott Barrett DFB on Twitter and check it out. He makes a very compelling case for a blow-up Boyd game, and we've seen Boyd have those monster efforts. So, to me, the highest floor, the highest ceiling, I'm going with Boyd there. Would you ride with Arizona D, or should I start LA Rams? I mean, defense is so fucking impossible. Like, I hate defensive questions.
Yeah, me too.
It's who gets the fluke pick six? Who gets that? To me, I kind of like the Rams. I think this is the week Allen kind of craps his pants a little, and he's faced such jokes, and he's looked great. This is going to be a great measuring stick game for him, because he could also bomb the Rams. It's like, holy shit, the Bills are actually good, because this is the first good defense they've had to face. Arizona gets Detroit, but they get Golladay back, and I think that's a shootout. I think the Rams have a better shot at actually stopping people than Arizona does. So give me the Rams. I don't love it. I actually have Washington defense, Giuseppe, above both of those guys. So that's even that might make you sick.
I kind of like the Giants this week as a streamer against the banged up 49ers. Yeah, they've been solid too. They kind of do the bend but don't break Patriots defense, and it's just
I love the bend don't break Patriots. I mean, I've seen them get dropped because they also face Kansas City next week, so I get the narrative. The Rams, though, I mean, the Washington football team is my favorite stream of the week. I think Baker Mayfield sucks. I'm done with him. I've officially fucking thrown it in. I threw it in before this year even started, but last year I couldn't have been more in on him, and he was so disappointing and showed up fat still. So I have no interest in Baker Mayfield. I think he gets a pick six today. That Washington front is going to eat them alive, in my opinion. Robert Woods, this is my favorite question of the week so far. T.Y., my grandma called me Hilton. That's got to be my favorite narrative. We've started fantasy football. Sorry, Roto Street CJ is the grandma pep talk.
Shit, I should have added him into my props. I need to go look at his numbers actually.
Yeah, I mean, how could you turn down grandma's pep talk? It's got to be the biggest bump ever. But my dad's actually texted me the same exact question, Corey Wilkes, and I told him I got to go Robert Woods. I mean, Woods hasn't disappointed yet. Did he blow up last week? No. But he's been steady. He's been solid. He's found the end zone both weeks. He gets the defense. He gets Buffalo, who gets roasted by the slot. And Woods is more outside, but can move to the slot. If he gets shadowed by Tre'Davious White all day, if you told me that was going to happen and there's no way around it, I would probably go call the grandma call. But Hilton's done nothing. Woods has performed for you, right? What's your fantasy team going to think when you put the guy that's done nothing and your logic is, he talked to his grandma? That's all you can give me? I love the grandma's pep talk. I still, it's my favorite thing to talk about here. But I also could see grandma ripping him a new asshole after he does nothing again this week too. So I'm not going with grandma called me Hilton this week over Robert Woods at least. But good question. I don't know. What do you think, CJ? Because Woods is a lot of questions on Woods. I
love Woods. I'm not afraid of him after last week. I'm still on him. He's locked in for me. Woods
is just so good too. And they use him so creatively. People disrespect Woods. He's just too good of a talent. He's a top 15, weekly guy for me. Mm-hmm. AJ Brown situation's killing me. They should just put him on a 3-week IR, right? So that way you can put him and stash him close. It's so annoying. I hate when they do that. Bill Jagir, good morning, Wolf. From the Katie Jagir, Bill Jagir household. Love that Katie Jagir is still holding the trophy right above Bill Jagir's head every morning. Good morning. Full PPR. Mark Ingram versus Kansas City. Like CJ said earlier, I'm not touching Ravens backs. That backfield is disgusting until Dobbins takes over, which Dobbins will. Dobbins is a must-hold. He is so fucking good. He's going to be the guy. It's only a matter of time. But until that happens and we know it, like, I don't trust any of these guys. Well, now I'm looking at these other options.
I was going to say, have you read the entire question?
So here's where this is where I'm going to draw the line, right? Latavius, Green Bay, ew. Hines versus the Jets, disgusting. Out of those three, if you got to lock one in, it's probably Hines. But this is where I go Rex Burkhead. This is where the 2% Rex Burkhead play against a Raiders team giving up the most receiving yards. I'm telling you, Bill Jaguar, you're going to get 12 to 15 points from Sexy Rexy. I'd rather have him in over. I'm recommending Rex Burkhead over Mark Ingram. Holy shit. But yeah, I mean, this is where I draw the fucking line. Like, let me look at my rankings and see if I actually reflect that, because I want my rankings to reflect what I say. I have Ingram 29, Burkhead 30. We're bumping Burkhead to 29, baby. Rex Burkhead going in over Mark Ingram. That's where I'm going. But if somehow Rex Burkhead's not there, and you have these three, I guess it's Ingram for the touchdown shot. Like, Kansas City is going to give up a touchdown or two on the ground. I think it's the Lamar Jackson show Monday night, though, not nothing to do with the ground game. Gross flex spot, Corey Davis or Burkhead. I go Corey. Locked in number one. He's gone back-to-back weeks with big numbers. And Minnesota's horrible. Minnesota's secondary is god-awful. I hate that I'm recommending Corey Davis after years upon years of bashing the motherfucker. But, like, I don't know. How do you avoid him? He's the number one receiver against the bad secondary, and Tannehill's cooking. Like, that's where I go. I don't know, CJ. Am I psycho? Is Corey Davis just never playable?
No, here. I mean, that I just don't really care about Burkhead. But here I'd definitely go Corey Davis here.
Yeah. It's not as gross as you're saying, Jimmy. I think Corey's a pretty good play. Van Deventer, the fullback. I love him. Fullback with the cowboy collar. I don't know how that started, but it will always be the case for Aaron Van Deventer. Mike Davis or Jeff Wilson, PPR. I got to go Mike Davis there.
Yeah, Davis there.
I'm guaranteed for the touches. Jeff Wilson, if you're desperately plugging him in, you're hoping for a touchdown. And as I've said, I really think it's going to be the McKinnon show today. So Davis is Wilson's like a touchdown or bust guy. Watch him get 20 carries and just dominate the workload. I'll be so sick if that happens. That's just going to piss me off beyond belief. And it could. It's not impossible. But Mike Davis, you're getting 15 carries or 15 touches, I should say. Probably not carries, but 5 catches, 10 carries, maybe more, especially if they get up early, probably getting the goal line work. Davis is unexciting, but he's also running back is the most volume dependent position. So give me Mike Davis. Yeah, you said Mike Davis too, right, CJ?
Yep.
Not much question there for Van Deventer. Start Hayden Hurst or Jonnu Smith. I go Jonnu. I love Hayden Hurst, but Jonnu's just – how do you bench him at this point? He's dominated both weeks. Gets a Minnesota team that gave up 115 to Mo Alley Cox. And there's no A.J. Brown still, the number one target there. So give me Jonnu Smith. I have both Eagles. What do you think? You're high on Hayden Hurst, CJ. I just want to make sure.
I'm still high on Jonnu too. I'm definitely going Jonnu there.
You're going Jonnu there? Okay, cool. I have both Eagles tight ends. Would you rather sit Ertz or Goddard versus Cincinnati? I sit Goddard. Ertz is still technically the number one. And Goddard didn't do anything last week.
That seems like a situation that's just going to suck all year. You're going to pick the wrong one basically every week.
I know.
I
would try to get rid of one.
I played Ertz week 1, Goddard week 2. It's just going to miss.
Exactly. I think Ertz is the safer bet, but it's exactly. That's going to be a headache for you all year. And just to plug for anyone new watching, get all your questions in. Any likes, comments, shares are greatly appreciated. Whether you're on Twitter, liking and retweeting, YouTube, the thumbs up button has been a huge help to us getting more discovery on YouTube, and YouTube subscriptions. Again, we're getting real close to that 1,000 threshold we're trying to hit. So greatly appreciated. And of course on Facebook, where we're getting the most interaction, your likes, comments, shares. If you're in a fantasy football group that you can drop this in on, awesome exposure.
I need to rip these a little quicker. We're at 11:15 right now.
They get loaded up early. We'll get through them all. We always do. I have both Eagles tight ends. Would you rather start Ertz or Goddard versus Cincinnati? Oh, we already did that one. That's one we just did. Drew Sample or Logan Thomas for Corey Wilkes? I like Logan T. Most points to the tight ends for the Browns and 26% target share so far. Sample was intriguing, 9 targets when Uzomah went out, but that's one I need to see again before I trust it. Wolf wasn't able to beat the chorus teacher.
I should beat you again.
You knew this was coming, and it was the truth. My kryptonite. Literally, I don't think I've ever beat the chorus teacher. And then Christian McCaffrey also got hurt. So it's just like the double whammy. My ultimate kryptonite. But Wolf wasn't able to beat the chorus teacher last week, but I'm trying to this week. Flex for Hines or Landry. Please redeem the effort for me, Keen, against the chorus teacher. I got to go Landry there after shitting on the guy is why you trading for him. I ultimately would go Landry. Hines is just like, he got you 0.9 last week. Like, how could you go back? And the game script should be Taylor. We're up huge. We're pounding the rock. There's no reason for them to go Hines. Mixon or McKinnon for Seamus J. Timberlake. The newly blonde Seamus J. Timberlake. I got to go
fire in that new pick.
Have you seen that pick yet, CJ? Fire Seamus with the blonde tips over there. Loving it, Seamus. But I go Mixon. McKinnon is as high as I am on him. I'm not benching Mixon. My running back 14 versus 18, so it is close. If you think Mixon needs the motivational like pep talks, Seamus, and you want to bench him, I can endorse it. But I think this is a week we need to keep going with Joe Mixon. What about you, CJ? Are you benching Mixon yet? It's a question we're getting a lot now.
No, I still trust him, and I never really bench RB1, RB2. Especially you spent a first round and second round pick on him, and you're just not doing that right now.
You're pot committed. You gotta keep riding that wave.
Yeah.
David Etheridge, Corey Davis or Gage? I think this is one where I might lean Gage. I have him real neck and neck. I think I go Gage. 34. Corey Davis is my 36. So it is close. It's not a clear winner for me, but I go Gage. What about you, CJ? Do you go the number 2 for the Falcons or number 1 for the Titans here?
Do you think Gage is good enough to be a 2? Just like how we kind of had the Ridley question earlier.
I think so. I mean, he's got 100 yards and 12 targets.
Is it just it could just be a scheme thing? Like they could put like you in at receiver and you're going to catch 10 balls. I think
it's just so pass happy.
Yeah.
It really comes down to what does Trubisky do today? Like, does Trubisky make this game competitive and get some points early? And I think he does. I kind of like that, Robinson, Trubisky, intriguing stack for sure on DraftKings. Again, I'm going Dak and Russell or Kyler everywhere. This is the week to pay up. But if I'm not, I guess, you could go Trubisky. But if not, and it becomes just like an ugly slugfest, you don't picture that with the Falcons, but if there's ever going to be one, it'd be this week. I don't know. You know what? I do feel a little bit better about Corey Davis, and I don't think my rankings reflect that. The more I talk through it, like if I had both these guys, I would probably.
I think I'm leaning Davis myself.
Yeah, I bumped Gage up a little too high in my opinion. I'm gonna put Corey in there. The more I talk through it, it's like I like Gage, but I don't love him. But I don't love him yet. Let's see him. It's a good point. Like, what is he gonna do as a number 2? Is he gonna be? He's been eating number 3s, but can he handle a little more defensive attention? We're gonna find out today. CEH Taylor or Eckler? McKinnon, leave one out. I think I gotta leave out McKinnon. You're not taking out Taylor. I don't think you can take out Eckler against Carolina. And, Hilaire, he kind of flopped last week. Yeah, he gets Baltimore. But he's so fucking good. Like, I can't bench Hilaire for McKinnon. I can't. I love McKinnon and I can't do it. What about you, CJ?
Yeah, McKinnon.
You're benching
I don't understand why Clyde Edwards-Helaire just isn't involved in the passing game. Last week was the perfect time to do that too.
It is confusing. Like if we get a third straight week and he doesn't see the targets, that's why you assume they draft him, right? Like such a good receiving back. I don't get where that involvement is.
And that game script was so perfect last week too.
Exactly. Like they were down. That's the time to unleash him there. You'd think this week the game script should be the right too. It's going to be a shootout. I can't wait. What a Monday Night Football game! Like what a treat. Getting the Ravens versus Chiefs. Probably a preview of our AFC Championship. And maybe Cam Newton has something to say about that these days. But this should be the game where Hilaire it gets used the right way. Even though Baltimore seems like a bad matchup on paper, run-wise, I don't really like him there. I think he's a good bet to find the end zone, and I think this is the week we finally see. Maybe maybe it was by design. They're kind of like, let's hold him out and not show him on tape till the Ravens. And like when you're going to unleash him, this is the week. Like when else against the best opponent right now? I got to go Hilaire. I love McKinnon, but I'm going Hilaire there. Stafford or Tannehill? Great question. That's a tough one. Literally 8 and 9. I go Tannehill.
I like Stafford there.
CJ goes Stafford.
Galladay's back. Offense is going to look normal again.
It's going to be a shootout, too. I mean, they're going to need to put up points because we know Arizona, that air raid is absolutely cooking in year 2. But I can't bench Tannehill, the most efficient quarterback in the league right now. I got to go with him. James Tomsky, start 2 PPR league. David Johnson, Todd Gurley, no. Singletary, Kelly, Mike Davis. I think I'm going Singletary, Kelly. I'm benching David Johnson against Pittsburgh if I got a good option. I'm benching Gurley against Chicago if I got good options. And I think Singletary and Kelly are both good enough options. I know you're in agreement about benching Gurley. What about David Johnson?
With this, I think I go Singletary Davis. I don't know why I'm just all on Davis this week.
Yeah, you're the Davis fan, so you're benching David Johnson.
Especially full PPR too. Yeah, I would bench David Johnson.
Yeah. So we're both benching the stud names, so to speak.
From like 2017. But.
Yeah. Exactly. Steven, my man. Shout out to my boys, ranked number 8 on Fantasy Pros. Cheers, man. I appreciate that. Was pumped to find that out, and now the Wolves trying to get that top spot, baby. But yeah, I beyond humbled and proud. It was very exciting to see that news, no doubt. A Button, Joel, Lamb or Gage, full PPR. That's all Lamb. I mean, Lamb is I love me Lamb. Like Lamb is so fucking good. He's might be like one of the most fun players to watch, and it's all right. Like I went all in on him on DraftKings last week, so I made sure to pay extra close attention to that game. And anytime he touched the ball, you're like, this guy is at just a different level than a lot of these players.
Yeah.
And I think that just continues this week. He hasn't scored yet. I think that script could flip. I'm going Lamb all the way there. Madison Lee. Hey, gents, who's got the most upside at flex between Jet, Henderson, and Kelly? I go Jet. This is, out of that whole group, you got some of the best ones. That there's just this nice congested. Again, I want to reiterate, like between Henderson, Kelly, Davis, McKinnon, there's this real like nice core of guys I think could all be top 20 this week that you would never have imagined in your lineup come week 1. But by far, my personal favorite's McKinnon. What about you, CJ? Do you ride the Jet?
I would rank it in that order too.
Yeah. I agree as well. That's exactly how I have him ranked. So I go Jet, then I go Henderson, then I go Kelly. And especially if I'm shooting for upside too, as you say here, Madison, McKinnon has if he gets 15, 20 touches, it's over. So that's where I'm leaning. Meth Hendrickson, getting some good YouTube interaction. I like this. Pick 2 for my super flex. Super flexes are always tough. But to me, so I got to pick 2, right? Because Goff's got to be in there. You always got to have a quarterback for Superflex. So I'm kind of confused as to is Goff your quarterback or do you already have a quarterback?
No, I think he's just saying just pick 2 of these. So I think that's
I'm guessing it's one's a Superflex and there's a second flex as well. So you're getting Goff in there for your Superflex. You always got to go quarterback unless it's fucking I don't even know Derek Carr. But I like Goff. And then I think I'm going to stack that up with Higbee. I think I'm going to go Goff and Higbee and just hope those two, last week that would have been a game winner on DraftKings, right? I got to go for the upside and just stack those two. Lamb. Yes, Lamb. He's probably helping answer. And I love that when people help answer each other's questions. So give me Lamb. I totally agree. Should I drop either Crowder or James White to stash KJ Hamler?
No,
I don't know.
I don't think so.
Because I do think when White returns, it's clear that the offense could use him right now. Crowder was such a target hog in week 1. I do like Hamler, but not enough to drop either of those guys for Giuseppe. Woods or Hollywood PPR. Now that's a tricky one. Man. Now this is where I think I might go Marquise. I've been saying I'm probably playing Woods over everybody, but I think that Monday night game is going to be a bonanza. I think I go Hollywood. I don't know though. That's tough. I go Hollywood personally. What do you think?
Yeah. I love Hollywood. And I feel like he's finally going to do it this week.
Yeah, this is. I mean, he looked real good week 1, over 100 yards. I think this is the week we get like a touchdown or two to go with it.
Sucks that they're not playing at the same time, where he can kind of see like if he's a favorite, underdog, whatever.
Right.
See, like Woods floor, Hollywood ceiling.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, give me Marquise there. That's where I'm leaning. James, who? Not sure. Oh, so James Tomsky's doing an odd job, just going and helping answer stuff. So James, if you have questions, thank you for going through comment. Just know if we can answer one. I'm not going to put up like all your answers. But yeah, keep going. Keep going through an answer. I know you probably did that 40 minutes ago, but thank you. It's awesome. And if you have any questions, let us know. MJJ or T.Y. Hilton? And Marvin Jones Jr. I'm gonna go,
Maurice Jones.
I know Danger Close is all about Marvin Jones, and I love Danger Close. Good predictions, but to me, I'm gonna go T.Y. This is where I go Grandma's pep talk for sure. Give me T.Y. Hilton. All righty. Where I just lost my place because it's
down
down.
Here we go. We're down to Allison. Yeah,
got it. Mixon or Henderson. I keep Mixon in there. I'm gonna keep riding my guy. Anthony DiLorenzo. What's up, brother? We have an article I think from him that he wrote last weekend, by the way, about the stages of Sunday.
Yeah, it's up.
It's up. Oh, good. I gotta check that one out. I haven't checked it out yet. Sweet. Anthony, I can't wait to read your work, brother. Hamler or Sammy Watkins? Gross, I know. That's tricky because Watkins was in concussion protocol. They're saying it's positive and trending the right way, but like, do you even have a backup plan for him? Because I would say Watkins, but if you don't have a backup plan, Hamler's like the backup plan, and you'd have to go with him. So I think I go Hamler. Raise your hand if this Sunday is the Sunday you're getting dragged at apple picking too. Oh, rest in peace, Anthony DiLorenzo. That's brutal. We'll pour one out for you. Your memory.
That's a Saturday thing if you do it.
Yeah, you gotta somehow plan that out on Saturday, DiLorenzo. I put that one on you. That's tough.
That might be grounds for a divorce. Jeez.
Yeah, this is definitely the apple picking season, though. I think we've seen how my Instagram's been completely flooded with the good old couples apple picking all day yesterday. So lovely. All you guys apple picking. So nice. I fucking hate apple picking. Literally, you go home with like this gigantic fucking bag of apples. You eat maybe half of them. By the end of the week, you're like forcing apples down so you don't feel wasteful. You're eating these rotting things like worms starting to come out of your fucking apples. Like, how many times can you eat apple pie, apple crisp? Like,
yeah,
you're just wasteful. All we're doing is being wasteful. Wolf against apple picking.
I'm allergic to apples, so we're 0-2 against apples.
There we go. 0-2. Roto Street, not an apple site. Not an apple picking site. Roto Street Journal, vehemently against apple picking. Week 3 bold take for 909 orbits. I mean, you guys know McKinnon's my boy. I think he eats this week. But I want to go bolder. Rex Burkhead. I've talked about him. I think Rex Burkhead ends up putting up top 25 value and is one of the best streams. And then other than that, I mean, I'm trying to think of what else to be bold about. Do we have any other big ones?
Drake over 100, maybe 102, or
who?
Kenyon Drake.
I think Drake goes off. Yeah. Your lineup, your whatever that big league is that you're in, Sanders and Drake. That's like how I started every single DraftKings lineup. I think this is Kenyon Drake's coming out party. And dare I say, it comes a little bit at the expense of DeAndre Hopkins in the sense like I'm not ever advocating bench Hopkins. But I'm saying when everybody's going all in on him on DraftKings, this might be the week where he like has like a good but normal and not like I should have paid $8K for this guy, $7,900 on DraftKings. So here comes 130 and 2 touchdowns from Hopkins on 15 catches. But no, I like Kenyon Drake to really pan out. I love McKinnon to exceed expectations. And I think, Rex Burkhead is my bold call of like, if any flyer goes crazy, it's going to be him. Big Ben or Tom Brady? I'm going with Big Ben. against Houston. Just a clean matchup, safer play. They're close, but I go Ben. What do you think on that one?
Yeah, I'm going Ben there.
I think I was definitely a little too low on Big Ben coming into the year. I was nervous his elbow, like the fact that it fell off in week 1 last year, just like he was addicted to porn all off season and like that.
His elbow's healed now.
But like he looks good. Yeah, he's zipping it, right? So if I had known his elbow would look that good, maybe he really got some good working out there, twerking that thing. But if I had known his elbow would look like this, and you add like a monster like Claypool to also stretch defenses, and Deontay looks like everything is bent the right way for Big Ben. His weapons all look great. His arm looks great. Like to me, he's a weekly top 12, regardless of matchups at this point.
The Patriots need to hire whoever does like their receiver scouting, because the Steelers just like hit on every single rookie. It's insane.
Other than well, not a rookie, but Dante Moncrief last year. That was our narrative was we trust their scouting department, and they were raving about Moncrief. Ooh boy,
yeah.
That's one of our funnier misses of all time for sure. Jay Kelly, M. Jones, or T. Smith, pick 2. I'll also be playing Eckler. Ooh, good note to include, because I was going to say Kelly's like the lock. With Eckler, I mean, this is the week, though. When you're facing Carolina, like this is a week you can kind of stack that backfield. And I think, so fella, here's the deal. If you are good, like your team is probably going to win, you want safe points. Stack that Eckler, Kelly backfield. They're going to combine for 40 points this week. Whether that's 30 Eckler, 10 Kelly, whether that's 25-15, whether it's 20, like that backfield's going to eat. I do think, if you need the boom though, because I could also see it being Eckler getting like 30 and Kelly being kind of useless, then Marvin Jones and Traquan Smith. Like if you need the upside, I really do like Traquan against that Green Bay secondary. Most cases, I'm going Kelly Jones and I'm benching Traquan. But if you really need the flyer, I think it's Traquan finding the bench. You're not on Kelly this week, CJ. Would you play Traquan over Kelly regardless?
No, I don't think so. But I think I'd lead in the receivers here. Yeah.
Wentz or Herbert, 6-point passing touchdown from Madison Lee. Ah, man, now we're getting close. I'm not tossing in the flag on Wentz and quitting on him quite yet. I'm close. I'm damn close. But since he's a good week to kind of test if this is the time to do that. So I'm going Wentz. You're a big Herbert fan, CJ.
Yeah, just not. I don't think he's not like fantasy startable yet. He's good for real football and he's good for that offense, but I'm not starting him yet.
Yeah, this is a good tryout week. Let's see what he does. Tannehill or Big Ben? Ooh, Tunes, tough one because I just raved about Big Ben, but I think I'm going Tannehill. The floor is with Big Ben, but 30 points last week for Tannehill, clearly getting it done without it's not like he needs AJ Brown to succeed, and Minnesota's bad. And Minnesota can also put up points to keep that game flowing. I see a similar game to what the Jaguars did last week. Give me Tannehill. What about you? That's tough one, CJ.
I'm going Ben there.
We're split there, Tunes. I go Thrill. Slayton or Gurley? Slayton. I'm not playing Gurley. I'm not playing Gurley this week. So that's the time to fire him up. Standard league for Maz. Corey Davis, MVS, Gage. Corey Davis, we kind of covered that one earlier. I get the MVS like hype and the Lazard hype. Everyone's out there, if you're not going to play, if you don't play MVS or Lazard this week, when are you going to play him? Well, probably never, because honestly, I like both those guys better with Adams in there. I think the Saints with Jenkins and with Tom Lattimore, especially after getting a little embarrassed last week, those corners are locked down. And I don't think MVS or Lazard are good enough to beat those guys. So
yeah, I agree with that.
I think that game's going to be ugly. I wonder what the over-under is, but to me, I don't like what Breeze looks like right now. Rodgers is cooking, and nephew Rodgers is scary, but my answer to this is Aaron Jones is going to fucking go crazy. He's going to go into the slot without Adams. Whenever he goes in the slot, he just eats. And to me, it's not the receivers. It's Aaron Jones that gets a bump. Wait, Julio's active today?
No, I just looked that up. He's not.
He's not? Okay.
Hey, stop with the fake news here.
Yeah, fella, get your shit out of here. All righty. We got Josh Jacobs is hurt. David Johnson or Gibson? Nah, you're getting cute there, Giuseppe. It's Jacobs. We don't need to spend time on that one. Who would you flex? Half PPR, Boyd or Gage? Definitely Boyd for all those reasons we mentioned earlier. Like Gage, but not nearly enough to bench Boyd, who's in a smash spot today. TY or Gibson? Love the work from McKinsey, Garrett, Crawford.
Grandma.
Yeah, we're going pep talk, baby. Fire up the grandma's pep talk. Gibson, the higher floor for touches, but like if TY doesn't do it this week, I think he's on the cut list. Like, honestly, he didn't do it against Minnesota, which should have been a smash spot. He got the pep talk. He gets a horrible defense. If you get grandma's pep talk and then you get a horrible defense and you still don't show up, then grandma should beat you with a fucking spoon and you should never be in a lineup again. So TY, we gave him one last shot here if it's him or Gibson. Standard flex play for Maz. Currently have Montgomery starting. Kelly, Dion, Lewis. Dion Lewis is the same person. Kelly, Dion, Lewis, Gage. Keep in mind, I'm already starting Eckler. By the way, wrong spelling of Eckler there. You got to get the EH in there next time, Mars, if you want me to ever answer your questions. This is tricky because you're starting Eckler. I think I still go the especially standard, like when touchdowns are out of premium. I think I'm going just loading up that backfield, and I'm starting them both. What about you, CJ? That's a tough one.
That's something I wouldn't do. I don't know. That just scares me to do that. But I think I'd go Gage there.
So we got Gage. I'm not trusting Lewis. I get either way. The play's not Lewis. I saw the narrative. They signed Freeman then, and do we know yet? Is Freeman active today?
Yeah, he is.
He is. So like, that just no. No Giants this week. No Giants backfield, please. I could not sleep. Jair Sandoval losing sleep last night over Andrews or Higbee. That should not, Jair, you lost a night of sleep for no reason. It's Mark Andrews. Every week it's Mark Andrews, and you don't ask questions about Mark Andrews. I know he was like 5.6 points last week, but you're getting a Chiefs-Ravens shootout. The Chiefs are not good against the tight end. I think the 5th or 6th most points of the position. This is an Andrews smash. This is Andrews 2 touchdown, 150. We're going back and forth all night, baby. Give me Mark Andrews there. And then Juju or Marquise. I think I'm just stacking the Ravens in that one. Juju a little dinged up. The Houston matchup, not scary. But Deontay out targeting him, more air yards. I'm gonna go Marquise and just stack those Ravens. But Juju this is one of those weeks where, like, Juju gets all the hate on Twitter because Deontay's above him. And it's like Juju is still probably the one there. So it's like, I don't know. That's tough. But I think I'm going Andrews Marquise.
If that was your flex, would you go Higbee over Hollywood?
No.
If you had to pick one of them for a flex?
No. No, I'm playing both receivers over Higbee. But what about Marquise or Juju? Where do you stand on that one, CJ?
Yeah, I love Hollywood. He's locked in for me still. This
is the week. We get like a 152 TD. I mean, he already had it's not like we're waiting on to see it. He had a great week 1. Like, this is just the week where it really goes crazy. Good morning, fellas. Marcos Valdez. We got the fellas correcting. He's inactive. Sorry. Jay Jones out. So thank you, fella, for we didn't mean to call you a fake news artist. You were just trying to help the show out. But improve that typing, fella. Marcos Valdez. Good morning. Flex, Lockett, Hollywood, CD already down 30 plus. Ooh, tough. You must have faced James Robinson, Marcos. That's who do you have in above these guys? Like, how are you not starting at least 2? I can see if it's like pick 2 of this group, but they're all that. And the tricky part is like I love that you preface this that you need upside because you're down by 30, right? But all of these guys are the type of guys that can boom for 30 plus. I think for me, I go Lockett. That shootout game.
I think it's in that order.
I do too. Exactly. Lockett. I think that game is just a bonanza, and Lockett has every shot at 150 TD too. He could go crazy. So I go Lockett the highest, but again, every single one of those guys could go for 25, 30 today. So that's a brutal call, Marcos. Like, if you have a gut leaning either way, you can validate any of them. But I go the order that you sent them in. With Julio out, M. Ryan or Tannehill? I'm actually going Tannehill there. I have Tannehill higher than Ryan. I bumped Ryan below Tannehill today. Am I crazy for that, CJ, or what do you think?
You love Tannehill. You're such a huge Tannehill fan. I think I'm going Matt Ryan there. I think it's safer, and it probably has a higher touchdown upside.
Yeah, 6-point passing does help Stafford out. I mean, Ryan there a little bit because he's more of the thrower, whereas Tannehill, you might get a rushing touchdown mixed in. And there is always the chance that Derrick Henry week comes in and just 3 touchdowns for Henry, none for Tannehill. Like that's always a scary possibility when you start Tannehill. But Julio out, a tougher Chicago defense, and Minnesota I don't think offers any resistance today. So give me Tannehill for me personally. John Ross, healthy scratch, says 909 Orbits. Well, nobody was starting Ross, but what does that signal? I don't know. You weren't starting Ross, and it's is Auden Tate now active? Does that matter? Probably not. So cool. Thanks for the update. John Ross is out, guys. Garrett Ford, start 2. Mixon, Clyde, McLaurin. Ooh, baby. That's tough because me, I'm as big of a McLaurin fan as you can find. I always have a hard time benching a workhorse for a receiver, though. But you got Greedy Williams out. You got Clyde against Balt. You got the top 2 corners for Cleveland out. So that's a good harbinger for McLaurin.
Are you benching Clyde? I'm getting those vibes right now.
I don't know. Here's the deal. I have Clyde 13 and Mixon 14. Yeah. So I would be benching Mixon if I'm benching a running back.
Okay.
You're going the RBs, right, CJ?
Yeah, I'm always a running back guy.
I think we're gonna miss a shot at a McLaurin blow up today if we don't put him in. I think I bench Mixon for McLaurin. Now I know Garrett, Mixon's your boy. Garrett actually had a class with Mixon. CJ had Oklahoma.
Okay.
So I understand
he'll play him.
So Mixon and Clyde are neck and neck, but I'm gonna bench one of them for McLaurin today. I would, which is it's crazy to say, but I think I do. And I personally bench Mixon. We already answered this one. I think it's Edelman, Hollywood, or Lamb. Okay, so that I think earlier it was Lockett. I think for this, I go Hollywood for the upside.
Oh, so I think that was the receiver question, and this was the flex.
Yeah, he must have had Edelman locked in and then realized okay, I can lock it. Now let's see if I, I go Hollywood for the upside there. Edelman's a beast. Edelman 170 yards last week, but I just don't think the Patriots are going to need to throw as much. I think we kind of, as good as Vegas has looked, they're coming off a tough Monday night game. I think this is a good spot for the Patriots, in my opinion. Diggs, Cup, Slayton, pick 2, 1 PPR. I bench, is Hill Tyreek Hill? Who else would Hill be, right? It's got to be Tyreek.
Yeah, I think it's Tyreek.
So you got to have Tyreek. Tyreek's always, you never bench. The Ravens are scary, but there's no matchup. That's tough for them. Hills, do you mind? She got her headphones on. Never mind. You don't bench Hill. And then out of those guys, Diggs has been a monster, but he gets Ramsey. Cup, the Bills defense is tricky, but they get roasted by the slot. Slayton, target hog, upside. They all have their narratives. I think I go Diggs and just kind of hope. We saw Cooper do well against Ramsey. I think I go Diggs there. But I don't know. That's a tough one, Ben Katz. I go Hill Diggs. What do you think, CJ?
Yeah, Hill's obviously locked in, and then I think you just ride the hot hand with Diggs. He's been so good at the beginning of the season.
He really has been. That does get tough though, because Ramsey, if Josh Allen does finally have his crap his pants matchup, it could get bad. So that's tricky. But yeah, we're both thinking you ride that hot hand with Diggs here. Looking at the rankings, I have Diggs 20 and Cup 21. So literally as close as could be, right there. Standard league with bonus, Kelly or Dion Lewis. Kelly for sure. Definitely Kelly there. I'm not a fan of Dion Lewis this week. Bonus, Julio is out, so Cup. Easy one. Craig Frost, Robbie Anderson or Cup. I go Cup there. They've gotten burned by the slot. This could be Cup's kind of coming out party this week. So that's where I go. Timmy Gray, good morning, man. Long-term fan. Glad to see you. Pick 2 out of Boyd, Deshaun Jackson, Golladay, Woods. I'm going Woods, and then Golladay versus Boyd. So Deshaun Jackson's finding my bench. Golladay versus Boyd. Literally, I have Boyd 25, Golladay 26. So that's close. Galladay's obviously the ceiling, but I feel like Boyd also has that same ceiling without giving you the flare up risk. So I go Boyd personally. I know CJ, you're like, I've had Golladay locked in all week. Is Boyd someone that would have given you like?
I love Boyd though. Wood's obviously locked in. I'm gonna go Golladay. I think.
Yeah,
I guess
it's tricky because of course Golladay could just be Babytron again and just kind of eat. But
they did play it safe with him. But
I'm gonna go Boyd though. I think you get a similar ceiling with a much higher floor. Tim Gray, Ryan Roberts, Hines or Jeff Wilson for the flex. Gross. Rex Burkhead, I like more than both, but if it comes down to those two, I'm gonna go Wilson for a goal line plunge. I could see Hines kind of rebounding like this week, though. As bad as he was last week, maybe a little middle ground from the first two, but I think Wilson's a solid end zone plug this week. I don't know. Rex Burkhead's my preferred play, but out of those two awful options, CJ, who are you looking at?
I mean, if it was PPR, I'd go Hines, but I think Wilson for the touchdown, I guess.
Yeah, it's gross. Rex Burkhead, hopefully your answer there. Russell Kaiser, Hurst or Cook. I have Ridley as my wide receiver. I think you keep with Hurst, though, especially Julio. I wouldn't be shocked to see Hurst lead that team in receiving. As much as I love Ridley, I own Ridley everywhere, I wouldn't be shocked to see Hurst lead that team in receiving this week. The Bears aren't very good against tight ends. They haven't been all year. So give me that. Give me Hurst this week. Jordan Howard, the biggest vulture at Mike Tolbert 2.0. Literally on pace for 65 yards and 16 touchdowns right now. So, yes, Omar Foster. And it's too bad because Gaskin actually looks pretty good, but
it's not bad.
If you're going to get your touchdowns taken every single time and you're like a mediocre between the 20s guy on a bad team, there's only so much value. As I said on Thursday night, so many Gaskin questions, and it showed why. He looked pretty good on his touches. People started to write into me, oh, look at Gaskins. And it's well, at the end of the day, what do you finish with? 9 points? You're good, sweet. You get a nice 12 to 15 touches on a bad offense in between the 20s. Gaskin, yay. But Howard's just going to completely ruin his value, any type of ceiling at least, in my opinion. Standard league with bonuses, Cup or Harry. I got to go Cup there. I like what we saw from Harry, but I got to go Cup. What do you think, CJ?
Cup's safe. I do like Harry. I have Harry's own props this week, but a Cup here, I'd say.
Can you stop? That's loud. Cool. Thank you. Alrighty, DJ Johnson, MBS, Harry, Corey Davis, Samuel, Hamler, Devonta. I gotta go Davis, and then it gets tricky. Maybe Hamler. We don't have any news on Judy yet.
I think I like Harry there.
I do too. I think I like Harry there as well. The more and more I look at it, especially Edelman a little dinged up. Harry could find the end zone this week.
Cam loves Harry.
Who does?
Cam.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Especially if Vegas can keep this game competitive, I like Harry and Davis. I'm not buying the number one for the Packers narrative just because I don't think. I think they need Adams to thrive there. I don't like that passing game as a whole. I do like the manufactured touches for Samuel, but let's see that first. I like Harry and I like Davis there. Bucks or Chargers? I got to go Bucks. Jeff Driscoll time, baby. I think the Bucks are my number 3 defense. Probably one of the best bets to turn it over and get a long score. I like that there. Watson or Tannehill? I got to go Tannehill. I'm benching Watson, pretty much across the board this week. Hasn't looked great. That offense hasn't looked great. And then you get Pittsburgh. I'm going to be all about the buy low on the Texans after this week, in particular Watson and Cooks and probably David Johnson as well, assuming he still looks good. But this is another week to just sit them if you can. Anthony Lynn, worst coach in the NFL. Totally agree. Complete asshole. the way he's handling this Herbert situation. I get it. You want to keep your rookie competitive and have a fire under him, but yeah, like come on, the dude looked fucking baller last week. All righty, I'm going to start kind of rapid firing these because more and more are coming in. We have 20 minutes, so I'll give him as much analysis. CJ, I'll call on you for the ones I don't like this one, for example, Reed versus Ingram. I have Reed a spot higher in my rankings. What? Yeah, I'm kind of off Evan Ingram these days.
I can't.
You'd go. Evan Ingram?
I can never quit him. So just
yeah. I mean, I have Reed a spot higher, and it's more out of respect for Quan Alexander. I think the passing game for the Giants goes through the receivers today because Quan Alexander is such a good coverage linebacker. Goddard or Hurst PPR. I go Hurst there. No brainer. Kevin Ford. Locking him in against that Chicago D we've been raving about. Hollywood Brown or Josh Kelly. Got to be Hollywood Brown. As much as we like Kelly for a touchdown today, Hollywood Brown in a shootout for the Chiefs. That's the stuff that gets you just fucking horny. Like you got to have Hollywood Brown in there. Wolf and CJay, my guys, Omar Foster, 7-0 last week. Fuck yeah, dude. That's what I like to hear. Let's keep it going. Fournette, Denver, Davis, Minnie, or Lazard. Not Lazard. As I said, I'm down on that Green Bay pass game. So I kind of like Davis. I don't know. Fournette versus Denver. Like, you think he's taken that job yet, CJ?
Seems it. I think so.
You think it's Rojo funeral time?
Yep. Sad day.
So if that's the case, do you go Fournette at Denver over Corey Davis at Minnie?
I think so, yeah. Fournette, he looked good last week.
He did look good. I still ride Davis and just make sure because Bruce Arians is so confusing. Once we know it's Fournette, then he's going to become a lineup lock. But I'm not fully there yet. I'm not fully there yet with Fournette. And that's a tough Denver Broncos run D, whereas their pass D has just crumbled this year. Howland, is Jacobs going to be on a snap count? I haven't seen any reports of that, and why would he? A little banged up, but no. I think you definitely still play Jacobs unless your team is like beyond stacked. Wide receiver 2, Anderson, John Brown. I go Robbie here. I like Robbie. Robbie's back-to-back 100-yard days being used so creatively. I think that pass game needs to be leaned on a little more. So yeah, Robbie. John Brown though, getting the number 2 of the Rams, and he's done nothing but score touchdowns. That's tough. What do you think of this one, CJ? That's a hard one for me.
I like John Brown there. I'm just such a huge fan of him, and I don't know. I feel him.
I actually looked to it. I have John Brown 28 and Anderson 29 in my rankings. So I've got that. That's like the 5th time today I've gotten a question where they're actually neck and neck with each other. So you guys are killing me today. But yeah, you know what? John Brown he scored a touchdown every single week. And if Ramsey is on Diggs, this is another spot for him if they're going to get it done in the air, it's going to be John Brown, in my opinion. So yeah, Johnny Brown. I like it. And I'm going Jarek personally over Gibson. So yes, D'India, let's ride that Jarek wave together, baby. Been hearing rumors. So we're circling back to the Landry conversation here with Tunes. You heard rumors of him being traded. I don't trade for somebody in the hopes they get traded. That's just, if he goes to the Patriots, okay, sweet. Yeah, but I don't know. No, you can't bank on that, right? Hurst or Goddard. We already answered that one for you, Kevin Ford. Hurst and then Hollywood Brown. What are your thoughts on playing for Victoria Elizabeth? I think this is Tori. Is this Tori? I think it's Tori.
She just tagged us in an Instagram post. She has us on her TV right now.
Gallman or oh God, no. Gallman over McKinnon? Tori, come on. No. I have no interest in Gallman. He might be the 3rd running back on an awful Giants team, whereas McKinnon's leading the way in that awesome zone blocking scheme. Give me McKinnon all the way. Lee, should I start Golladay and Jacobs? It's tough to know without knowing who your other options are, but I mean, Jacobs, everyone nervous. I mean, I got to have Jacobs in my lineup. He's top 10 running back, almost off there. I go Jacobs. And then Golladay, it's risky. You got to have a good option, though, to bench him, is what I will say. If you don't have a good option, you don't bench Golladay. Lazard or Harry today? I'm going Harry. I'm not in on that passing game for the Packers this week. D. Johnson or M. Brown? That's tough, David Glass, but I like Marquise Brown this week, even though D. Johnson's just a monster. M. Jones, Sanders, Hilton, Bourne, Ayuk, pick 1. Give me Grandma's pep talk if I'm going for those options there. All day, Tunes. Firefighter 526. Wonder what your employment is. full PPR. Need to start 2 out of OBJ, Juju, Arwood, Deontay Johnson. Yeah, Tanz's burner account over here. Out of those 2, I'm going Deontay sneakily is like my favorite, I think. And then but Juju, that's tricky. Like, do I really rank Deontay over Juju? And where does OBJ fit into all this in a low volume passing game? I think I go Woods and then one of the 2 Steelers. Full PPR, think I like Deontay and that target share a little more. Yeah. That's a tough one, CJ. Which of those?
No, I definitely I go Woods, Deontay.
Sweet. So we're lockstep there. Hines, Rex, Wilson Jr. We're going Rexy, sexy, flexy, baby. All about it. Omar, just let that Corey Davis love wash all over you. I'm going to go shower again after that one. Kenny Hyde, wait for Golladay, late game, or Tyler Boyd. I'm going Tyler Boyd. I think he's in a great spot. We talked about that earlier. Similar floor ceiling to Golladay with a whole lot higher floor. David Glass, flex, D. Johnson or Davis. Got to go D. Johnson. Love the volume for Davis, but D. Johnson's such a good option. AJ Green or Corey Davis. I hate Green. I've always hated Green these last couple of years after just being a complete useless bag of shit all last year. And now he gets Darius Slay. Like the targets, the air yards, everything suggests you buy low on a rebound for him, but give me the guy getting it actually done, and that's Corey Davis. Would you actually play Davis over AJ Green, CJ?
Yeah, I want no part of AJ Green.
Yeah.
20 targets, 2 receptions.
Exactly. Broderick Fortier. Start 2. Montgomery, Hunt, Kelly. I'm going to bench Kelly despite loving him there. I just like your other options. Montgomery's kind of earned back a little bit of love here. He looks good. He looks better than he did last year. And Atlanta offers 0 resistance to anybody, including running backs. Beer choice of the day. I always like to start with my New England IPAs, but you can only have so many of those because the hangover is just abysmal the next day. So I'll have probably a nice New England IPA to get the palate nice and tasty. And then I just go light. I'll get some nice light beers or seltzers after that, David. What about you? Let us know your beer choice. CJ, you drinking today?
Seltzers, of course.
Seltzers. Always. CH had 6 targets, and did he really have 6 catches last week?
I didn't know that.
Oh, well, I
thought he had like nothing. Let me see.
Yeah, I must have missed that. So good to know. Sweet, because this is the week he's going to be leaned on in the pass game. Mike Clay, I'm gonna have you come on the broadcast next week. CJ, you're fired. Mike Clay's got all the insight for us here. Flex Marvin Jones, Lamb or Singletary. I go Lamb. Lamb or Singletary. I go Lamb. I think right.
Yeah, I'm going Lamb.
The volume's going to be there with Singletary, but I just think Lamb blows up today. John Brown, Marquise Brown. Marquise always got it twice here, so go Marquise Brown there.
So he did have 6 receptions, but it was only for 30 yards.
Oh, okay. So, but the involvement's there, so that's good. That's good to know. They're gonna need that involvement next week. The 8 targets, pretty sexy too. Fournette or Gurley, full PPR. Fournette. I don't like either, but Fournette. Big Ben or A-Rod? Big Ben with all those for Gino Petruzzi. Is this Gino? Or is this a different Gino?
Different one.
Oh, different Gino. Okay. Hello, different Gino. We still love you, even though you're not the Gino we know. Big Ben or A-Rod? I just don't like A-Rod's weapons this week. Despite that revenge tour being very clear. I'm going to go Big Ben. Then Golladay, Gage, or Jacobs. I got to go Jacobs. I'm not – everybody worried about Jacobs. Like, he's a monster. Josh Jacobs is fucking good. The Patriots linebackers suck. Stop that. Hollywood, Josh Kelly, or McKinnon. Hollywood, no doubt. Logan, if Golladay is out, he's playing, so we don't need to worry about that one. And you're going Golladay over either of those guys. Woods or Kenny G? Give me Woods all day. Jackson, I love the excitement, baby. Happy football Sunday. Start 2, bench 1. DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, David Montgomery. I think I'm definitely playing DJ Moore. I think I'm benching Keenan. But 1 point PPR, and he had 6, 7 catches and 95 yards last week. Herbert looks good. Carolina's secondary sucks. Montgomery gets Atlanta. I go Keenan. I think over Montgomery. I don't know. Keenan or David Montgomery, CJ. Full PPR.
I liked Keenan with Herbert last week. He actually looks like himself again. I like Keenan there.
Yeah. Let's bench Montgomery there. Please answer one of mine. You asked like 8 fucking times and we answered it 8 fucking times. Stop that shit, Kevin Ford. You guys, you've been watching a lot, Kevin. We love you. You got to know that we have about 200 fucking questions, so it takes us about 20-minute delay to get to your actual one. Fanta or Jonnu Smith for Landon Hahn. I go Jonnu, but I love both these guys. But Jonnu against Minnesota, Mo Alley Cox just destroyed these guys. No, AJ Brown, smash spot. If Davante Adams is in, should I drop MVS and start any Saints wide receivers or go with Willie Snead? I mean, none. Adams is probably not going to play.
No, he's saying if Adams plays, should he drop MVS and start one of the Saints?
I actually think MVS is better if Adams plays. Like, I think you're going MVS unless Traquan's there. If Traquan's there, I go Traquan over MVS either way, whether Adams is in or not. I have Traquan above MVS. So if he's there, that's where I'm rolling. Jarek McKinnon, rock out, or Kelly. Give me Jared. I don't know why I find that so funny, but give me the Jet McKinnon for sure. Burkhead, Landon Hahn, Burkhead or Josh Kelly. I love Kelly. I love Burkhead as a streamer, but Kelly's the guy. Touchdown there this week. Sorry, guys, missed the earlier question. Stop asking questions and leaving, Giuseppe. Jacobs, David Johnson, Gibson or Hines. Jacobs. Come on, Jacobs.
There's so many Jacobs questions.
I know. Laughing his ass off for 909. Don't remember what we talked about, but I'm happy we gave you a chuckle. 1 point PPR, Singletary or Johnson. I'm going Singletary. Again, the 1 week that you can really confidently get this guy in there for full volume. Waller or Goddard? Got to go Waller, especially with Ruggs out. Not that Ruggs is this huge target hog, but every target's going to go to him. Matty Ice or Cam Newton? Cam Newton, baby. I get the Ridley stack, but no, Cam's unbenchable at this point for most points. Probably the steal of drafts. I was late. This guy, David. Great to see you, David. Just happy you showed up. That's the thing. XX, True Polar Bear, XX. I thought this was going to be one of our classic, like, love you, I'm horny comments on YouTube from the bots.
Those are the best.
Yeah, quite the porn name for the XX Polar Bear, the True Polar Bear. I like it. Put on a show for us, baby, Polar Bear. But Evan Ingram, Hayden Hurst, or Logan Thomas. I have Hayden Hurst definitely above all those guys.
Sure.
Talk to text. Sorry, boys. Oh, that's the inactive after we bashed him for it. We got Harry or Montgomery. Montgomery, definitely over Harry. Singletary, Mixon or Cup. I'm riding out Mike Keenan, Mixon still. Hey, McKinnon or Fournette? McKinnon for me today. I know you probably like Fournette, CJ, but give me McKinnon.
I like McKinnon's upside.
Yeah. Waller, Goddard, full PPR, overthinking it. Definitely overthinking it, Chad. And again, we mentioned the risk of the Patriots taking out what you do best. That is Darren Waller. So there's that risk, but like Goddard every other week, like it's going to be tricky, that the tight end, rotation there. I do like Reagor being out though for Goddard's upside, but give me Waller there. Gurley or Singletary, going Singletary there. Finally get some goal line work, hopefully this week. Gurley or Henderson. I'm always benching Gurley. If you ask Gurley, we don't get to you, I'm benching Gurley. Pick one wide receiver and one flex in full PPR. Woods, Slayton, Jackson, Hunt, Kelly. I'm going to go Woods for the receiver, and then for the flex, I'm going to go Kareem Hunt there. Non-PPR, Swift or Hardman in the flex. Swift. Swift's been like sneakily like decent, even though he's seeing very little work. I think it's only a matter of time before
is Watkins banged up, or isn't there like some sort of injury?
Watkins was in concussion protocol, but they're encouraged by it. And if Watkins plays, Hardman becomes a nobody, If we knew Watkins was going to be out, it would be Hardman there, but that's just risky to wait on. I think Swift can find the end zone this week. Kelly or David Johnson? I personally lean Kelly. You're not high on Kelly, so this is an interesting one to see where you draw the line. What do you think for David Johnson versus Kelly?
I'm going DJ, I think, even though that's a really tough matchup, but I like DJ there.
Give me Kelly. Better to touchdown for me. Full PPR for the fake Gino. Flex and what? Pick two. I'm not even that. Come on, give us a fucking boil it down. Your I'll answer it this time because you're new, Gino. But give us the boil it down for us. Don't give us your whole lineup to fucking set. You know which ones you're going. You're going Juju and Cooper. You're going Jacob Clyde Connors for the running backs and flex. That's it. I only answered it because you were polite and said thank you. Omar, Golladay or McKinnon? I got to go McKinnon. That's a good wait and see on Golladay. All right, you're a big Golladay fan, though, CJ. Would you bench McKinnon for him?
Yep, I'm definitely on Golladay there.
Ooh, intriguing. All righty. We have 7 minutes and about 10 questions left. Let's rip them. Singletary, Davis, Fournette, Dion. Give me Singletary there. Do you think Henderson will get more touches? Certainly do. He looked great last week, got 120 yards. I think he keeps it ripping. Rams or Cardinals, D? Give me Rams. Don't love either. Give me Washington above either, but give me Rams today. Hayden Hurst or Noah Fant? I like Fant. CJ likes Hurst, so it's a true toss-up. Hurst has the ceiling. They both have.
We actually have like 20 questions left.
All righty, let's keep going. Singletary, Mike Davis, Fournette. We answered that one. Singletary, Boyd, Deontay, Golladay, Deontay. Have 2 flex spots. Thinking McKinnon and Eckler. Yeah, because they keep coming in as we're going, so it's tricky. I have McKinnon and Eckler with CEH and Taylor starting. Could also go the running backs there, Tunes. No name. Gage or Slayton with Ridley as my wide receiver 1. Especially with Ridley there, give me Slayton. I like him better anyways. MBS or AJ Green? I don't like AJ Green, but I'm still going AJ Green. Do I start Valdez or Cup at wide receiver 2? Definitely Cup. Jared Cook or Hunter Henry? Hunter Henry. Bears or Eagles? Bears. Who gives a shit? It's defense. 2 out of Marvin Jones. Deshaun Jackson, Michael Gallup. I'm going to bench D-Jax there. Russell Gage or DJ Moore? Julio is out. DJ Moore, definitely. Dallas Goedert or John Brown? PPR. John Brown. Juan Pena. Do I start Julio? Yeah, Juju over Moth. What are these questions? Of course it's Juju. This is going to make us easy to get through all these questions when we're getting layups like that. D. Johnson or Gibson? Give me D. Johnson personally. CJ, I know you're quiet over here, but I haven't needed to really go.
There's nothing really to add.
Yeah. Traquan or Deontay Harris? Traquan Smith. Definitely looks like wide receiver 1. No Juan Pena. Don't keep asking it. You go Juju over Valdez Scantling. What are we thinking here? Jonathan Taylor, Henry, Miles Sanders. Which one do I sit?
Oh, yikes.
I sit Henry. I mean, awesome options. That must be like no flex type of league. I sit Henry. No receiving involvement there. Yeah. Miles Sanders, Taylor. I have him higher. What about you, CJ?
Yeah, I would sit Henry there.
Crazy. I don't think I'd ever say Henry. But hey, there you go. Judy, Ingram, Traquan. Pick 2. Bench and Ingram. Ertz or Jared Cook? Ertz. David Johnson or McKinnon? McKinnon for me. I think CJ agrees as well. Yeah? McKinnon over David Johnson. Yep. Golladay or AJ Green? Golladay is worth the upside in that one. Josh Allen or Deshaun? Give me Josh Allen, Mr. Pena. What to do with Josh Jacobs? You play him because he's a fucking stud, J. True. LOL. Haha. Mark Prieto. Tyler Boyd or OBJ? Ooh, that one's actually really tough.
Boyd.
Yeah, is this Boyd week? OBJ had the touchdown last week, and Washington's secondary sucks.
It's Boyd.
He goes Boyd. I think I'm going to OBJ there. Goddard, Hurst, or Hawkinson? I go Hurst there, Jimmy McGinnis. But Hawkinson's a real fucking good option, too. I'm winning $1 million today. Don't forget the boys when you do it, Mike Clay, but it's too bad we can't both win $1 million because I'm going to actually. So, sorry about that. Mike did tune into the show yesterday, though, the DFS show, and our lineups are very, very similar. So if we do good, we're going to both do good. It's just a matter of who does better.
Our Venmo's open after, too.
Absolutely. Don't forget your boys, Mike Clay, if you win that millie. Darrell Henderson or Golladay? That's actually pretty tough. I think I'm going to go Golladay there if I have that option. And I'm going to definitely go Darrell Henderson over MVS. Thank you, guys. Good luck. You as well, James Woodruff. Enjoy the games. You as well, Tunes. Thank you so much for always coming to the show. CD, Hollywood, McKinnon. As much as I love McKinnon, that's where I draw the line and I bench him. I love Hollywood and CD Lamb too much more. And Nick Dad God. That is a powerful name. Nick Dad God. Juju, Chris Godwin, DK. Who do I sit? Ooh, a strong lineup. I'm gonna bench Juju there. You can't bet. DK just roasted Gilmore. And then Godwin coming back in that slot against a weak Broncos defense. As much Juju shouldn't be on most benches, but this one he should be. Fuck CJ. We almost forgot your props for everybody that's still tuned in. Most of these have probably been seen on Instagram by now anyways. But here's your quarterback props of the week. You want to rip them through real quick? We have 2 minutes.
Yep. Trubisky over 1.5 touchdown passes. Stafford over 1.5 touchdown passes. Daniel Jones over 16.5 rushing yards. Burrow over 22.5 rushing yards. Derek Carr to get picked off at least once. Running backs. Josh Jacobs over 16.5 receiving. Miles Sanders over 82.5 rushing. Jonathan Taylor over 86.5 rushing. That's kind of high, but I still like it. Jerick McKinnon over 20.5 receiving.
I agree, especially the McKinnon. That's my smash of the week. Keep going.
N'Keal Harry over 50.5 receiving yards. Deontay Johnson over 64.5 receiving yards. Slayton over 3.5 receptions. Curtis Samuel over 2.5 receptions. Hamler over 2.5 receptions.
These are all. I don't see how any of those don't hit. These are money.
Tight ends: Dallas Goedert over 4.5 receptions. Jonnu Smith over 3.5 receptions and to score a touchdown. And Hayden Hurst to also score a touchdown.
Love them all. I love that Hurst one too. Plus 150. Awesome prop bets. Thank you guys for the free money there, CJ. We'll make
Thursday,
sure we gotta get that in earlier.
3 out of 4 on Thursday, I think.
Yeah, you've been money with those prop bets, so we'll make sure
hit
next
on like
time.
the first 2 plays of the game too.
Yeah. Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll make sure to get those earlier for those of you that do like to hit the prop bets. We see Fanta Waller here. I go Waller personally. But yeah, thank you guys coming down to the wire here. Best of luck. Dominate those week 3 matchups. We will see you tomorrow, Monday, right at 7 p.m. Eastern time for your recap show. Thanks so much for sticking with us, guys. We love you. Wolfpack is out for CJ signing off here. Best of luck in week 3.